Happy National Portal Day. Well, I mean, it's been open anyway, but now it's football season, right? I hate it for our good friend Rich Rodriguez. I hope Rita Rodriguez, I hope she's doing okay today because they had over 25 players off their football team enter the transfer portal this morning. Good luck with that.
Well, you hit the nail on the head on Twitter, Pat. It's the TikTok ban.
It is the TikTok ban. That's what happens when you tell everybody you cannot dance in the locker room. We'll not allow it.
He's changing the culture, Pat.
Well,
you want 25 of those kids and they're not buying in? They got bad attitudes? Get them out.
Well, there's one way to change the culture, and that is absolutely purge the entire roster.
Purge the entire roster. Then you have a built-in excuse for when you go out there and you lay a dud in season number 1.
That is the case. We will continue to follow the transfer portal, both the musings of both the basket's weird, the basketball and the football being open at the same time. Auburn basketball this morning, they got a commitment, a JUCO commitment from center Amika Oporum out of Butler Community College in Kansas. Oporum is fresh off a standout freshman season. He was named the Kansas Junior College Defensive Player of the Year. He averaged 9 points, 8 rebounds, almost 3 blocks a game. He's a native of Nigeria. He measures 7 feet, 200 pounds. He shot 67% from the floor, taking only 4 3-pointers on the season. So it's kind of odd. We've now seen 2 7-footers, both Alabama getting their 7-footer from Bucknell, and now Auburn has dipped its toe into the junior college ranks to get their center.
We were just talking about it. I told Conrad that the Oporum compared to the body type of, was it Noah Richardson? Williamson. From Alabama, Williamson looks like he's been camping out at the buffet compared to this guy. He is a string bean. But I was watching some of the film, and he's got really good agility, twitch, whatever you want to call it, for a 7-footer.
Yeah, you can just clearly tell with the early additions that both Auburn and Alabama have made. They clearly noticed the size differential in games with the Floridas of the world, the Dukes of the world, and said, we got to fix that. And so far, so good.
Well, wait until Florida unveils their 7'9" guy.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, he's been waiting in the wings.
The game has changed.
I want to know how fast he can get down the court. It's got to be slow.
I hope we just don't witness a bone breaking.
Oh.
You just worry about it with those guys.
I know. It'd be like a stilt snapping in half. It'd be awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't want to see that.
From the football perspective, Auburn had their backup center, Braden Joyner. He entered the portal. He started at left guard last year, and he spent the spring at the number 1 position at center because Connor Lew was out. He was on the all-SEC team.
Freshman team, right?
Freshman team, yep. And so he is saying, see ya. He's out the gate in 88.
Negotiations broke down.
He looked really good in that practice on Saturday. So
yeah.
What were you going to do?
He did.
That's what happens. You shouldn't have had open practice.
Yep.
You should have canceled it.
This is what happens.
Like, that guy. Who is this guy? He showed up on time. Doesn't look like a problem.
Is his dad a problem? No, great. Let's sign him. Let's keep him.
Does he have a helicopter parent? No, they're pretty relaxed. Let's go.
So I did hear that the basketball commitment that Auburn got yesterday from Mississippi State, that cost them a pretty good chunk of change.
Yeah, it probably did. You get a guy with experience in the league and was a consistent scorer and can do some different things. Yeah, it's probably going to cost you a little bit.
Going to run you 7 figures. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go a little higher than that.
8 figure? No, I'm just kidding. But no, man, hey, we talked about it last week. Texas Tech, they brought Toppin back for $4 million.
Wasn't that much.
No, but
I was told it was a very healthy amount. It made me go, what? You paid that for that? 11 points?
More than they paid Janai Broom to come back this year?
What was that number again for Janai?
I don't know. It was north of $1 million.
It's like 1.5, I think.
I was told it's north of that.
Big expectation.
Let's just say that if you're a Southeastern Conference basketball player, you can make some money right now.
So he's going to make more money for Auburn basketball next year than Nico is for whatever school he ends up at.
Based on the current projections, yes.
That's got to sting.
And here's something that needs to be discussed by the SEC, and they may do this. Why is it because you can't transfer from SEC to SEC school in this portal in football, but you can in basketball?
It's a good question.
I'm hearing a lot of people around the conference really irritated.
Yeah.
By that.
It would make one of these situations very interesting if you could jump to SEC schools right now.
I'm talking about from a basketball perspective.
Right.
They're not changing the football. That's not changing. I'm talking about the basketball, how, player A can go to another SEC school and be eligible immediately.
You don't want like an Aiden Holloway situation type
Correct.
thing. They don't want that.
Correct.
Okay. I could see that.
Or Diabate playing for Kentucky.
Correct.
Immediately. Those type situations. That is what I think they will have a discussion in Destin about. They need to kind of firm that up.
Just make 2 portal windows. Like football, everyone loves that, right?
But both of these being open at the same time, it's nuts. But one thing is for sure.
Well, but I guess maybe it's because you do offer the December portal period where you can go SEC to SEC school. I don't know. That would be frustrating. I'm glad, though, that basketball does have the rule in the SEC, or it doesn't have the rule. So we keep...
It makes it more interesting.
Well, we got to put 14 back in there.
That's right.
Don't want them leaking out to the Kansases of the world.
Well, he might be coming back, so we'll see.
Yeah.
It's been quiet in Tuscaloosa in regards to the transfer portal, so we'll keep our eyes to the west and see what happens there.
Why'd you want to leave?
Chasing the championship.
I mean, you got a bunch of kids down there that just love Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Matt Zenitz reported about an hour ago that there is not much traction for Nico and UCLA. Nico went into the portal. He officially put a do not contact tag on his entry, which means more than likely he's already got a deal ready to go. But there's no word yet. But according to Matt Zenitz from 247, it is not right now, apparently, UCLA.
So we think in Colorado.
That'd be funny.
Texas
it would be
Tech.
Hilarious if it was Oregon.
Oh, yes, that would be really funny. No way they do that. No way. Because it depends on what they see.
Colorado would be interesting.
I was going to say, we know Tulane's out. UCLA doesn't seem to be in the mix. USC doesn't really seem to be in the mix. So I guess that leaves us with Colorado and Texas Tech, unless there's mystery team.
Sac State.
Well, I mean, come on. We can.
Let's do it.
I don't want to get my hopes up.
Ooh.
Him and Ajayi Hall. Lethal combination. Wouldn't that be something?
So we'll keep you updated throughout the morning. Coming up later in the program, Brian Edwards is going to join us. The new football coach at West Alabama, Scott Cochran, will join the program at 11 o'clock. Skip Holtz at 11:30. We'll talk to him about his 2-1 Birmingham Stallions, another road game coming up. Well, every game's a road game for the Stallions because they're not here in Birmingham, but you get the point.
Yeah.
They will wear the road whites this week.
Hopefully get the offense figured out, score some points.
Well, ask him about the quarterback situation.
Yeah.
It looked a little rocky to that last drive.
Yeah.
In the game. So your Braves lose last night.
Yes, that was awesome.
Schwelly takes it on the chin. Did not have a good night at all. 6 hits, 6 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 2 homers.
Yeah, the fifth. Fifth's what doomed him.
4 2/3 innings. It matched his worst start in brevity and runs in his career.
He
ERA.
was leading baseball in ERA.
Yeah, it went from 0.45 to 2.55 based on last night's.
Yeah, he had surrendered 1 earned run in 20 innings prior to that, and then last night it all fell apart.
Austin Riley's getting hot. That's good for the offense. Hits another home run, his 5th. Olsen goes yard. Ozzie goes yard. But they failed to win consecutive games again. Every time the Braves seem like they're about to potentially get on a little roll.
Pat, I think we're 24th in team ERA.
That's not optimal.
No. Mm-mm. And with Strider going today, I'm just praying his arm doesn't fall off.
Well, I mean, he looked good in spring training in his short stints.
Yeah. He's been working hard to get back. And I know Ronald Acuna, he had the battery of tests there with a specialist in LA. I'm not being pessimistic, Landrum, when it comes to the Braves. I'm in all sincerity. I'm not feeling it this year, guys.
Okay, so let's say Strider goes out there today, looks perfectly healthy, 6 scoreless innings, boom, 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 business as usual. Does that change how you view them moving forward with Strider?
I need to see more consistency.
Okay.
Molly showed me something that somebody had posted, and it was a GIF, and it was basically me when the Braves actually win 2 games in a row.
It was Rory McIlroy after he won.
Oh, when he fell and he was like on the ground.
Like crying. He's like, man.
Convulsing.
Yeah.
I'm going to need to piece together at least.
Well, hopefully we can get King Griffey Jr. to photograph you in that moment as well.
Yep.
That was kind of a cool note from the Masters.
Yeah, it was.
So Strider has been activated. He will pitch today, 12:07. You can hear the game over on Jox 2 100.5. They are going up against Blue Jays right-handed pitcher Chris Bassett, who is 1-0 with a 0.98 earned run average.
Is Bassett the guy? Was he with the Orioles?
Now, Bassett used to be with the Mets.
Mets?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I'm all over the place. Was that the one that had the supermodel wife or?
I don't know. I'm thinking of Justin Verlander when you say that.
Okay.
Supermodel, I don't know. He's a professional athlete.
There's so many
50-50 chance that he has a supermodel wife.
Yeah.
He's a rich athlete, you know?
There's so many.
I'm looking it up.
So today is getaway day. A lot of day baseball. Molly's Tigers are playing the Brewers midday. We've got the Astros today around 12:15. Braves over on Jox 2 100.5 at 12:07.
He has he has a nice looking family, but no, this is not the player I was thinking about.
Well, as we know, spring weather in Alabama can be really unpredictable, so that's why you need the reliability of a Trane, voted America's most trusted HVAC brand. And right now, you can receive up to a 10-year warranty on parts and labor on select Trane home comfort systems. So to find out more, go and visit Trane.com.
So Nico just won't go away. Yesterday, Ryan Clark on ESPN's Get Up, man, he went crazy. We'll let you hear what he said. And Paul Feinbaum was sitting there. Looked like he was ready to pounce, but he didn't. But he didn't. I sent him a text.
What are you
fired
doing? Up, man.
So what are you doing? We'll hear what Ryan Clark went all out on Nico and the fans.
Fans?
The fans.
How's he going after the fans, Pat?
I don't know. We'll hear it next. 1017 Jocks 94.5. We'll keep you abreast of what's going on in the transfer portal. It has officially opened up in regards to the football transfer portal. The big story this morning is everybody's waiting to see what's going on with Nico, as Nico officially in the transfer portal with a do not contact tag. So typically what that means is I've already got my deal done. Don't bother me. I know where I'm going. My family's good. Just don't even waste my time.
I'm so glad that we didn't waste our time in trying to learn his name and pronounce it correctly.
I mean, you had it nailed from the very get-go.
It took some practice.
It was a tough one. Iamaliava doesn't just roll off the tongue. Would it not be funny if it came out that he put the do not contact tag on there to drive up the price and make it appear that, oh, somebody's already come after him, so we got to go get him? That would just be another nugget in this whole story of misinformation.
Yeah.
There were 3,610 people that went in the portal, the football portal last year.
Oh, I thought you were going to say this morning.
No. No, there's been 500 since April 1st.
Okay.
So we'll see how that percolates and ends up. So Ryan Clark, the former LSU star, former NFL player that you see pontificating on ESPN, multiple platforms, he was on Get Up yesterday morning with Paul Feinbaum and Heather Dinich. And this is what Ryan Clark had to say about the whole Nico situation.
The fans don't matter. They just don't. This is about those young men, and this is about those football teams. I think it goes back to what Heather said, the failure of leadership of the NCAA and former president Mark Emmert. They could have been on the right side of history, but because since Teddy Roosevelt instituted the NCAA and they've made money off of student athletes' back without ever having to give them anything but a quote-unquote free education, they didn't want to change. They didn't want to say we can put rules and regulations on NIL. We can make sure that these players have more than they have been giving, but we can also make sure that it's not the wild, wild west and that coaches don't have to deal with players that may hold out in a situation where you shouldn't hold out because the contract isn't binding. And now you got people like Mario Cristobal, who, by the way, is part and fault of this because he gave Carson Beck, who ain't the best quarterback in the country, $4 million to go to Miami.
There you go. Your thoughts?
Ryan, that's a great thought that the NCAA, they put all this together and that everything is great and you have guardrails and you have all of these things. But no, there'd be a federal judge somewhere, like in California or somewhere else in New York, that would come out and rule against it and say how somehow this was unconstitutional and it was impeding whatever. So, no, I disagree. And I think the fans do matter, especially in college football. You better believe they matter.
Well, it definitely matters on Rocky Top because if the fans didn't matter, they wouldn't have charged a 10% fee on tickets and labeled it as a talent fee to help with the NIL. Mm-hmm. If there weren't enough fans to support that, Tennessee would not be able to do that, or they would have charged 25% as opposed to 10%.
Who's watching these games? Is it non-football fans? Come on, Ryan.
That's just the path you don't want to go down. The last thing you want to do is disrespect the fan bases and say,
was this a deal
what does it even matter?
Before this conversation started? Was it like, Ryan, you're going to take this side? As absurd as it is, you're going to make this argument for this side?
I think Ryan Clark is a professional. I think he has some good things to say. I think he also, as if you have followed along with Ryan Clark, he has said some asinine things in the past, and I just kind of lump this into that category.
Well, if he would have stopped, first off, the fan comment was stupid. And then if he goes on and you want to blame the NCAA, I'm all here for that. Yeah. That's a legitimate argument.
Take a number.
But then to blame Mario Cristobal because it's you didn't mention Manny Diaz at Duke.
No.
I mean, supposedly they paid this guy from Tulane $4 million.
That one's worse in my opinion, just from the impact on the sport.
You want to talk about just causing just this craziness in the
I saw him play in
portal.
person. I didn't think $4 million.
Yeah, good, but not $4 million. Good. Yeah.
So you go crazy on Mario Cristobal in Miami. Miami's been overpaying for people the last, whether it was Derek King. Now he'd say that whatever they paid Cam Ward, that was worth it. But
I would also say in terms of who. Okay, if you want to say neither him, Nico, or Carson Beck are worth the amount of money they got, that's fine. I'm not going to argue against that. But I think if we are going to argue that one guy deserved to get paid more than the other, it's Carson Beck over Nico. He's accomplished more. He has shown that he can take a program and win games in a college football playoff and go to, like, again, with that side of the argument, I understand it's frustrating, but I don't know if Carson Beck is the best example.
Well, and the market is what it is. If you're in need of a player at a certain position, what are you going to do? You're gonna take a stand and go, no, I just don't agree with this. Well, guess what? One of your conference rivals, one of the teams that's probably on your schedule, is going to go and pluck him up. So the survival of the fittest. You don't have to like it, but that's the game that all of these coaches have to play if they want to be around for a while.
It's also interesting because yesterday when we posted some of the Mike Griffith clips, watching and reading the comments on Instagram and TikTok was amazing. The number of people that were coming after Mike Griffith and what he said yesterday, because Mike was, I'm using my words, not his. Correct me if you guys think I'm wrong, but let's just say he was a little bit more supportive of Nico than a lot of people have been in the media.
Well, yeah, he said he was a victim.
Mm-hmm. That was the line that really ticked off a lot of people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That he was not a victim. And that this was a system that was obviously not created by Nico's family, but his father definitely aided in this chaos that we're now undergoing.
For half of what Nico and his family got, I will volunteer to be a victim.
For 1.1 as opposed to the 2.2 he was making?
I'll do it for 10% of what he was making. I'll be
wow.
Yeah. Now, as far as victim, just to endure what he just had to endure. But he could still be a Tennessee volunteer football player. He could still be the starting quarterback at Tennessee.
Yes.
But they overcooked the grits.
Yeah, no, they just classic situation where you overplayed your hand. You thought that you had all the cards on your side, and you didn't.
Had pocket fours.
That's the way that it is. And if it, again, unfortunate for him potentially, but if this is what it takes to send a message to some other guys, and it's ultimately a good thing for the long-term health of college football and the transfer portal, he can consider himself a martyr one day and go do a public speaking circuit. It'll be great. Can't wait.
I mean, Mike's always a lightning rod, but
how my dad screwed up my career.
Yeah.
But those comments yesterday, that was some record territory on our social media.
Yeah, I didn't think, of all the things that I thought Mike was going to say about it, I didn't think that he was going to go that route.
So Aaron Rodgers, I was just curious if I could pick your brain. How did you cut ties with your family?
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for me in this scenario?
What a speaker slate that would be.
Aaron
Nico's a warm up for Aaron. Huh? And then a special appearance by Brittany? Come on.
Well, one of the questions that Greg and Cole brought up this morning on their show was, do we see Nico even play football this next year?
You mean, does he just sit out,
There's
train?
somebody on social media, I don't know who it was. I mean, this was like someone who follows professional football saying that the UFL should reach out to him. Now, granted, those players only make 55, 60 grand a year.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a pay cut from what he had in Knoxville. But if you're trying to establish yourself as, okay, I can play at the professional football level.
I think you need to go and have a season where this is all, not that it's going to go away, but you erase some of the thoughts and maybe mindsets of where I think a lot of people are right now.
So if I'm not mistaken, let's hypothetically, if he did that, he could go in the NFL draft next year, right? Because he would have completed 3 years of college eligibility. God, that would be just... This is not a Jamar Chase situation where I understand why people were frustrated with that, but he was clearly an all-world level talent, so you were okay with it. That would be such a bad look for, even if it is truly, I know we're joking about it, but somewhere like a Sacramento State, go there and absolutely tear it up. Throw 50 touchdowns this year and remind everybody of why you were asking for $4 million in the first place, and then you might get it. But sitting at home.
Yeah, go put up stupid numbers.
Yes. Go down a level. Who cares? But you need to play. You need to put good film out there for other programs.
But is he going to be able to go somewhere that's going to have the remote talent that Tennessee had?
No. But if he's worth $4 million, then he should be good enough to elevate the guys around him, right?
Well, that is true, but you're also probably not going to be playing the competition you play in the Southeastern Conference.
No, absolutely not.
Well, in our opinion, that's going to be any other conference.
Yeah. Well, no, but that was my point of go somewhere where you look at the competition, you go, oh, I can own these guys for a fall and do that. I think that's the best path for him right now.
I think he'd be great at Utah. I don't know why Utah just keeps coming back to me like Utah. I think that
They need a quarterback.
He would do well.
Knowing what I know about that staff in Willingham.
Oh, I don't think Dillingham would.
You don't think Whittingham would put up with
Whittingham.
it? No, I don't either. No. There would have to be some concessions made by Nico or Nick. Probably more so Nick.
I think they're going to have to make some concessions anyway.
Yeah.
The moment they left Knox County.
You think his dad has been surprised at not everybody just beating down the door and blowing up the phone, going, look, we'll pay more than $4 million?
Well, we talked about this the other day. There is a theory out there that they knew how all of this was going to shake out, and they already had their deal done with whoever. And it was just, this was the course that was going to have to happen.
Yeah.
And we're leaving, but hence the reason why there's a do not contact tag on his transfer portal. 95% of the time when that happens, that means a deal's already been done. So this family, they've been shopping him since December, according to people in Knoxville that I talked to. So if they were shopping him in December, that this is not something that has just come up in the last week or two. So they said, okay, well, we're gonna go through spring. We're gonna, sign autographs, orange and white game, yay. And then the moment the portal opens up, we're gone. So we'll see. We'll see if that school is ready to put pen to paper and give him a check.
Well, hopefully through due diligence, yeah, you've had those conversations. You feel like that deal is going to get done, and maybe it's just a matter of time.
Because I tell you one thing, if we're sitting here a week from now, and he hasn't landed somewhere, I'm for it. Drama for the next 7 days. That'd be fantastic. We will open up the phone lines at 1-800-239-WJOX, the Courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450. Coming up in about 15 minutes, Brian Edwards from Vegas Insider. We will talk to him. All that next on this Wednesday edition of Three Man Front. 1-800-239-WJOX on this Wednesday. This is Three-Man Front. Conrad, Molly, Landrum, and Pat with you until 2 o'clock. 10:45, we will talk to our good buddy from Vegas Insider, Brian Edwards.
I got some good buddies, and they're there at Dobbs Ford on Parkway East in Birmingham. Joey and Rachel Goshen. They're the managing partners. Their son, Austin, heads up the sales department, but they got a great team, and you're going to find just great service, great experience when you go to Dobbs Ford. And right now, they're offering employee pricing. That's right. You're going to pay what the employees pay on select makes and models, and 90 days until your first payment. They got Alabama's largest showroom selection. They'll beat any competitor's price. From the F-150s, which are beautiful, get a Dobbs edition, the Mustangs, the Mach-E's, the Escapes, the Edges, the Explorers, so much more. Also a great pre-owned inventory as well. Dobbs Ford, DobbsFordBirmingham.com. Make sure you tell the staff that Landrum for Three-Man Front sent you.
We got some time for some phone calls, so let's go to the phones at 1-800-239-WJOX.
Let's go to Dave. Dave, how you doing?
Man, I'm trying to wrap my head around what this guy's thought process is or lack thereof. I mean, your head coach is an offensive guru, pass-happy offense. You're familiar with the offense, the playbook. You should be comfortable. Just go out and do your thing. And if you have a good year, which there's no reason to think you wouldn't have a good year, he enters the NFL draft going into next year. He's a first-round pick, and he gets all the money. But now he wants to test the waters, go somewhere else, learn a new offense, have no idea what the offensive line's like, have no idea what your weapons are going to be like. I'm sure he probably talked about it, but do you think that coach said, yeah, we're slack on the line, our running backs can't run, one guy's hurt? I mean, I just don't they need to start doing IQ tests before he can enter the portal. I don't get it.
Now, listen, Dave, we're in agreement with you 100%. That this whole situation has been just mind-boggling. Forget about the money, but everything you just laid out from a setting himself up for success professionally, playing for someone that has the offensive acumen like Josh Heupel, it's just bizarre.
Well, and I'm not defending them, Dave, but think about it from a perspective. How many elite quarterbacks have left a current school where they had a really good situation and they didn't land somewhere?
Yeah. Well, he's heading down that T.J. Finley road's what he's doing. But, I think the country needs to make an example out of this guy. Not that I would want to put ill will on anybody, but if the country just stays away from this guy and lets him sit and rot in the transfer portal, because if you don't, it's going to be like everybody's like, hey, he pulled an OBJ. He was a holdout in spring practice because he wanted a new contract. I mean, it's just getting out of hand, and I don't know where it's going to stop. If they don't make an example out of this guy, it's only going to get worse.
Thank you, Dave. We appreciate the phone call. We continue with your phone calls. Let's go to our friend BB. Hey, BB.
Good morning. How's everyone?
We're doing well. Hope you are.
I am well. As far as Nico's concerned, I think that it's a classic example of he comes from parents who grew up in the participation trophy era, and everybody should be allowed to have what everybody else has. And I just think he's the living embodiment of that. And I agree with your previous caller with Dave. It's only going to get worse, but we'll watch the drama. I just wanted to mention, I know we're going into the summer months, which is so much fun with your broadcast. We've got Molly's Movie Minutes. We've got to schedule Conrad's Sir Strumman challenge in the high heels.
Yes, because you're supposed to take him to DSW.
I know. We got to get him over there to do the shopping. But I've had often on when you do Pat Ponders, a number of things that may not necessarily relate to sports per se.
That's even better.
But questions that I think would be so much fun for y'all to ponder. And I just wanted to know, what's the best way to get that stuff to you? I don't know how
Carrier
I can
pigeon.
send you. Okay.
No, I mean, you can, obviously Tuesdays, we see you every Tuesday, or you can text in.
Wait, would you have some ready right now, BB?
Pardon me?
Do you have some ready right now?
No, I don't have any ready right now. They're in my head. I need to write them down.
Yeah, write them down and let's talk on Tuesday.
Okay. And as far as, I'm sorry I missed yesterday. I really wanted to be
Molly
there.
was very upset. One, she wanted a cake because she won the Masters.
I wanted to thank you for the cake because I didn't see you last week.
Yeah. So, but yeah, she won the jacket.
It's just, I'm concerned because when they start doing construction on 280, which is going to go from Homewood to 459, it is going to be damn near impossible for me to get there. So I may have to just relinquish my visits to sometimes when you guys do remotes. I don't know when this is all going to break out, but being in the car for an hour and a half to try to get there is, I love y'all, but
no, we love you too. We understand. What maybe would putting you up in a hotel on Monday night, would that be an option?
Sure. Unless you guys want to put me on the payroll and I can figure out a way to, get up there and do work for you every day. That kind of be fun. Yeah. I like it up there on the mountain.
Yeah.
It's a good view.
Yeah, it's a great view.
I need some kind of a heliport kind of thing or something that will get me back and forth, because it's not easy getting there from Chelsea. You got to hit it just right.
No, I can't imagine with construction.
I might talk to David Upton at Crane Works.
Yeah, that's right.
David's a pilot. Maybe he can work something out. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
But anyway, I'll get some things together for you. I think it would just be a blast to have some things non-sports related that would be interesting to ponder when you have your questions.
Sounds good, BB.
Why do you drive on a parkway and park in a driveway?
Why is there an interstate highway in Hawaii when there's no state connected to Hawaii from a road?
Yep.
Why do we not have a double-decker 280 to get to downtown in Homewood?
Yeah, it should have been done years ago.
Along with the dome.
Should have.
Yep.
But you all have a great time. Sorry I missed you yesterday. I will try to get there Tuesday and bring you some interesting questions.
That sounds good.
Fun.
Thanks,
Thank you, BB.
And the aquarium with a beluga whale.
Yeah. And we could have been the hub for Delta. Almost had a Ford plant, I think, built here in Birmingham that ended up in Atlanta.
We're not bitter.
Atlanta got all the big ones. And then they stole the SEC championship game from us.
Yep. Media days.
But I will tell you, being witness to the first two SEC championship games,
it's probably a good move.
I was really happy to see it moved indoors.
What, rainy and freezing cold?
It was freezing in 92,
ideal?
and then 93. It was absolutely oh my god.
Pat, you're not saying that factors in to the outcome of a football game, or it just factors into overall fans being miserable.
It was just a miserable experience in 1993, sitting through that rain. Ugh, it's terrible.
We'll continue with the phone calls. Let's go to our buddy Robert. He's in Greenville. Hey, Robert.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing great. Hope you are.
Yeah, listen, the biggest news today is Spencer Strider is going to make his first start since his elbow surgery today when the Braves played Toronto. And, since the 0-7 start, they've 5-5 in their last 10. And it's too early to give up on the season. But the Braves.
Yeah, Landrum, it's too early.
I said I don't have a good feeling about it.
But the Braves need to put together a winning streak. They're in a favorable part of their schedule. I think if they can win this game, they'll have a 4-2 road trip. And the Mets have really played a very weak schedule to open the season. Everybody's making a big deal about them, but they hadn't played outside of playing Houston. They lost 2 or 3-2. They hadn't played anybody. But this Nico situation, I think a lot of folks are getting fed up with it. I mean, this is not when I was a kid back in the 70s, just show you how old I am. This is not the reason why I love college football. This is the courts have got to get this situated. They have got to approve this House settlement. And Congress or somebody is going to have national legislation because it's just getting way out of control. And I just think that this is bad for Nico. This is bad for college football, but props to Tennessee for putting their foot down. And I just think that they got some really bad advice, whether it's family members or whatever. They got some bad advice to tell him, and this is just not good for the sport. But it's tough on Tennessee. But who do you think is out there to be a quarterback for Tennessee that that they could bring in. Because to me, that's the most overlooked part of this story is that Tennessee is having to find a quarterback in the spring transfer portal. And look, they open up with Syracuse. Don't laugh. Syracuse won 10 games last year. And they're coached by Fran Brown, former Kirby Smart assistant. And 2 weeks later, they played Georgia. And I think things could get pretty rough up there for Ernest T. Bass and the fine folks up in the hills of eastern Tennessee. But this is just a bad situation for them.
It is. We appreciate the call. Thank
Alabama
you.
Fans aren't shedding tears. Thanks.
Thank you. It's interesting because apparently Nico's camp did an interview with Front Office Sports, and this is a direct quote from his family to Front Office Sports because they asked what led to the quarterback's exit at Tennessee. Direct quote from the family: "What did we do wrong to steer him and put him in a bad situation? We didn't."
Oh, God.
So
we're still in the denial stage.
But does that mean that they've already got the deal cut with his new school and they're very happy with it? That might be their angle.
Maybe so.
Like, we're very happy. We're about to go to UCLA. We're coming back to the West Coast. We're going to play in the Big Ten Conference. We're,
He got $4 million.
Yeah, we're happy as a
tax-free,
a pig in slop. We're good to go.
God, that would be the worst outcome from this, is he gets what he wanted all along.
Well, and I hate to sound like Landrum here, but California tax code is a whole heck of a lot different than what you paid in Tennessee for that $2.2 million.
It's probably about $4 million equivalent over there.
What a mess. We're going to talk to Vegas insider, our main man, Brian Edwards, next on Three Man Front. First opportunity we've had to talk to Brian Edwards, Vegas Insider, joins us every Wednesday on the program. He has been celebrating since San Antonio. He's a happy man, happy camper. His Gators win the national championship down in Texas. Brian joins us on the Higginbotham Hotline.
Baseball team is terrible.
Yeah, the baseball team sucks. But anyway, we won't talk about that. Congratulations on your basketball team.
Congratulations.
Thanks, fellas. I don't even count our baseball World Series like whenever that was 4 or 5, maybe 6 years ago. I don't even put that toward my ring count. So no big shakes on that. I don't count baseball.
Why do you not count baseball?
Because he doesn't bet on it. I mean,
I don't bet on it,
yeah.
and I'm just not into it.
He doesn't recognize it.
It does not.
It's not a real sport.
It does not go to my ring count, which finally got another ring. Finally, it was a way too long of a wait.
So
when we get them in bunches usually.
So the happiest moments of your life as a Florida Gator, outside of Tim Tebow winning the Heisman Trophy and a national championship, where did this rank for you as a Florida Gator fan?
Let's see. I mean, top 5 probably, yeah.
Okay.
And Tebow's Heisman's not in that top 5. His natties are in there. I would say.
How many Spurrier era moments are in that top 5?
Oh gosh, the 52-20 win in New Orleans, the rematch over the Noles for our first natty, is undoubtedly number one. The 32-29 home game rematch the next year, when we had barely beaten an 0-11 Lou Holtz South Carolina team the week before, and FSU was undefeated, and we denied them a natty when Spurrier rotated the quarterbacks every other play. That's probably the number one outside of the natties.
So the Free Shoes University game, is that the one you're talking about?
Was that no, I don't think it was that. I think Free Shoes was, well, maybe that was the same year. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
that was 97 that we beat them at home. That's the best football game I've ever been to in person. And my favorite game at the Swamp ever, the 32-29 rotate the quarterbacks in.
Very good. All right, let's get some talk about some plays going on over the next couple of days and nights. Let's talk about the NBA. So we've got play-in playoff games, right? That's what's going on now in the NBA. And the Mavs and Sacramento, the Kings, are doing battle. I think you got to play on this one.
Yeah, both these teams are bad, but I like Dallas plus 4.5. Now, Dallas was awful down the stretch, but they've been dealing with injuries galore for the last 2 months. But in the last week or two, they've mostly gotten healthy with the exception of Kyrie. So, I mean, right now, Anthony Davis is back, and they have 4 of the 5 guys, obviously Kyrie being the exception, of who they thought they were going to have, as a starting lineup post-Luka. And Sacramento has lost 6 of its last 7 at home, going 2-5 against the spread, and Sacramento's 14-25-2 against the spread in 41 home games. So I'm gonna go Dallas plus 4.5 at Sacramento.
All right, another game that it appears you were looking at. You've got Chicago and Miami, correct?
Yeah.
That matchup. What are you looking at here, Brian?
Yeah, I like the Bulls tonight. They've played their best basketball of the season since March 6th. They're 15-5, both straight up and against the spread. In their last 20 games, Josh Giddey's been the big reason why. In his last 9 games, he's averaging nearly a triple-double, 17.2 points, 9.9 rebounds, 9.4 assists per game. And the Heat and the Bulls played 3 times during the regular season. The Bulls won all 3, both straight up and against the spread. So let's go Bulls minus 1 or 1.5. Let's also go over 219. This is the lowest total of the entire season for the Chicago Bulls. During the 3 regular season meetings between the Bulls and the Heat, they had combined scores of 230, 223, and 257. The Bulls average 119.3 per game. They give up 120.9. So by my math, that's average combined scores of 240.2 points per game, and 13 of their last 14 have had at least 224, and 12 of their last 14 have had at least 230. And the over's on a 5-0 run for Miami. So I know that it's the playoffs, and you usually have players playing better defense and lower totals, et cetera. But it seems like the adjustment's been made a little too much on this one. Let's go over 219.
So I'm curious. So before the basketball season started, did you take out a future on the Gators winning the national championship? And if you did, what was the number?
I did not at the beginning of the season, but I got it in early December at 35-1.
Okay, 35-1. And I read on social media that you've already fired in on the Gators repeating as the national champion. What's the odds, and did you fire in on that?
This is true. 25-1, and I think so. Condon is testing the NBA waters, and he's projected late first, early second. But I mean, I think he would have to move up to the lottery to go. That's my opinion, because he's been quoted as saying he wants to come back. You know, that he's just testing the waters. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, you get good experience playing against NBA hopefuls as well. And so I think he's coming back. So that just leaves us losing the backcourt, which is a lot. Elijah Martin, Will Richard, and Walter Clayton. But I think everybody else is going to be back. And we had one guy who didn't play at all hit the portal. So we've got 4 roster spots open. And I think he's going to kill it in the portal. I think we've got the lead on this Princeton kid who is the point guard, who's considered one of the top guys. I'm pretty sure that we're going to get him. He's been visiting, or at least he had a visit yesterday. I don't know if it continues today. But in other words, I just think the Gators number is going to go, be reduced from 25-1. So I'm grabbing it now.
5th best odds of SEC teams, according to what I'm looking at right now, as far as cutting down the nets.
And I don't know that it'll remain that way, but that's what it is now. And so that's why I'm grabbing it. And I didn't put any other NBA plays in because I haven't written them up yet. But looking ahead later in the week, I like the Pacers in a money line parlay. And you could put it in there with the Lakers. And I haven't done that parlay calculator because I started that 3-teamer with Golden State last night. So I'm not sure about the 2 games specific, but Indiana at home to Milwaukee and the Lakers at home to Minnesota on Saturday. I think that money line parlay, I think it would be a little bit of plus money or even money at the worst. But that's one thing I like this weekend.
What about where Nico's going to land? You got any odds on that?
Man, he's running out of options, isn't he?
Doesn't look good.
He'll find a landing spot.
What just horrible advice by his team. I feel bad for the kid or his dad. I'm guessing it's just like 99% his dad.
Yeah, we keep hearing he doesn't have an agent. This was all family related, so I assumed that was his father.
Yep. Well, poor guy, bad advice.
Yeah, not good.
Brian, thank you.
Thanks, fellas. Y'all have a great weekend.
You as well. Brian Edwards, major wager, Vegas insider. Always kind enough to join the show. Scott Cochran, former Alabama strength and conditioning coach, Georgia assistant coach, now head coach at University of West Alabama. He joins us next.
Welcome back in. It's hour number 2 of Three Man Front here on Jox 94.5. The Ump up in Huntsville, Alabama. Jox 740 in Montgomery, Alabama. We appreciate you making us a part of your day. I tell you every day about Golston Tree Service, 205-337-4018, operated by a certified arborist. Golston Tree Service handles those little jobs like trimming hedges and shaping the trees, hazardous jobs like line clearance, and big jobs like complete tree removals with cranes. They also grind the stump out and the roots out, and they haul away to the last twig. Complete removal. They can do that for you today. Golston Tree Service. The number is 205-337-4018. And of course, during this time of the year with all these heavy spring storms we have, another issue is that overnight things can happen. Things fall on your house, potentially your car in the driveway. Don't worry, Golston's got your back. 24-hour emergency storm work service, 205-337-4018. So you might not need them today, but you need them overnight. You can call them, 205-337-4018. That is Golston Tree Service. A very special event is going to take place here in Birmingham next month at the club. It's Giving Restoration Luncheon to benefit the Will Bright Foundation. It's going to be held on May 13th. It's a VIP get-together at 11:15. The luncheon is going to take place at noon at the club. The Will Bright Foundation is an outstanding foundation that's located in Trussville, but they help so many people around the state of Alabama in regards to recovery. And we're happy to be joined now on the Higginbotham Hotline. The new head football coach at West Alabama, Scott Cochran, joins us here on Three Man Front. Coach, I hope you're doing well on this beautiful Wednesday.
I mean, come on. It couldn't be better. I'm back home, baby. I'm back home. So I'm grateful, baby. How are y'all?
We are doing fantastic, Coach, and so glad to have you back in the borders of the state of Alabama. Just tell us about what's going on with your program right now, because I know you hit the ground running, started naming a lot of very familiar assistant coaches to your staff. I know this is a dream come true, getting an opportunity to be the head man.
Oh, yeah, it's been incredible. I mean, we had our spring. We had a spring game, and because of weather, we had to move the day, and we still had a packed house. You know, people are excited. They're excited to see what this team can do, and I'm going to tell you what, I'm excited to see what we can do too.
Coach, I wanted to ask, because, I mean, you've obviously been around big-time college football for a long time, but now taking on the role as the head man, right? It's your program. What has been maybe the biggest difference or the biggest challenge for you now that you are in charge of the entire program and you're not just one cog in a coaching staff?
I mean, the buck stops with me. I can't blame anybody for any mistakes that I make. So that's been interesting, but no, it's been great. Getting to know the players that are on the team, and then getting on the road recruiting and meeting some people, seeing some old faces. I get to go on the road here in the next couple of weeks, and man, am I excited to go see some of my old friends.
Well, one thing is for sure, Coach, I wanted to ask you this, because the man you're replacing won 9 games last year, and he just happens to be your boss. Do you feel any pressure? You feel any pressure there, going from a guy that won all those games, and now he's your boss who hired you?
Okay, so you talk about pressure. Did you not know who I worked for 18 years?
Well, I think that probably provided you some pretty nice calluses. Yes, I do believe that. Yes.
No, Coach Gilliland's been awesome for me. He's obviously been the head coach here for 9 years, and man, or actually longer than that. And man, I ask him questions all the time, and he's been great for me. And have him as the boss is really awesome, because he's been through it, right? He's done this job. He's had success, and I'm just trying not to mess that part up, right? I want to continue the success and start building something great here.
Coach, I know you learned a lot and you took away a lot from your time with Coach Saban, but if there's one thing that you could cite that you specifically use in every day of your life that maybe you got from Coach, what would it be?
Paying attention to the details. The details matter. You know, when you tell a player to do something, when I tell somebody on staff to do something, that the details really matter, and those are important. So it's kind of like, don't half step at the job, right? If you say you're gonna do something, execute it at your best ability. Don't half step at it. in the world right now, recruiting is so important. And, I want my players here to feel welcomed here, right? I don't want a bunch of them to say, hey, I want to get in the portal because I don't know my coach. If you want to get in the portal because you think it's a good opportunity for you, go ahead. But I don't want someone to leave this program saying that I don't know my coach. So that's why I've surrounded myself with great men, guys that I've coached, that have talked to and had long conversations with long before this job even came open. And to have them surrounding these young guys, it's just a blessing, And what I've learned is that pay attention to the details. Don't cut corners, right? You always, my mom used to say, go sweep the porch, right? And the first spot she would go is the corners, right? Or the corners swept, So the details, that's the biggest thing.
Coach, one thing's for sure. I've been fortunate to know a lot of former Alabama players that were there playing when you were on the staff at the University of Alabama. And they said the relationship that they had with you in the weight room and off the field was in some dark times, being on that football team. I'm talking about just an emotional and a mental standpoint, that you were the guy that they would go to, maybe not even their position coach, but they would come to you. And because of that relationship, you were able to help them forge that relationship and help them through some dark times there, being a young student athlete at a place like the University of Alabama. Just talk about how that relationship, how you're trying to forge that bond now with your new team at West Alabama.
Yeah. So, my first goal here, we've got 90 guys on the team right now. My first goal was to learn every single one of them's names, So when I first walked in the door, I had a meeting with every individual player, a 15-minute slot to get to know every single player on the team. Because I feel like the things I'm going to ask them to do are not ordinary. Playing football is not ordinary, right? And we want to be extraordinary in all the things that we are pursuing. And so just being as simple as doing your job, right, every single day, and coming in here with the right attitude. I've got to know the individual before they can push. Like the head man being the head coach, I walk in, I may get some respect, but I believe that you have to earn that respect because I'm going to ask them to do extraordinary things. And so just being average is not going to be okay anymore. I'm going to demand more from them. And so in order to do that, I feel like I have to get to know them. I have to get on their level and see them right where they are in order to get them to push through some of the tough times that we're going to create for them.
Coach, as Pat just mentioned, you've had the privilege of instilling a lot of wisdom and a lot of life lessons with a lot of young people over the course of your career. But for you personally and what you went through, and you've been very open about your addiction and trying to help and minister to others, how much did you learn about yourself? And then in turn, how much has your message and what you try to instill to your players changed?
Honestly, it's basically actually now walking the path that I've preached, right? The things that I learned about myself were that I'm really good at certain things, and there's some things I struggle with. And I think that's everyone. And so when you do a self-evaluation, you find out all these things about yourself. And being in recovery, I'm in a constant search, right? I'm constantly making amends to people after I make mistakes. That's new for me, is to be able to say, hey, I messed that up. Let me fix it. That's a new side for me because, that never came into play as a strength coach, right? Now it's on a daily basis. I tell my staff, hey, I messed that up. Let's fix it this way. So I think those are the things that have changed a little bit. I've always been a pretty honest guy, and I kind of tell you like it is. And so I don't think much has changed. The energy is still there, obviously, because, man, it's football. It's the coolest sport in the world.
There's no doubt. We're talking to Coach Scott Cochran from West Alabama, joins us here on Three Man Front. And a reminder, next month, he is going to be the guest speaker at the Will Bright Foundation Giving Restoration Luncheon. that is benefiting the Will Bright Foundation. That is going to be on May 13th, 2025 at the club here in Birmingham. So, Coach, I'm not going to go out on a limb and start asking you about this year's team, because I know there's going to be a lot of things that happen from now until you get to fall camp. But just talk a little bit about what you have right now on that roster and what excites you the most about this team next year.
Well, I think what excites me the most is the energy they bring every single day. We have a quarterback that's coming back. Spencer's was a great quarterback for us last year, and he's coming back. Most of the offensive line is coming back. And then our defense is an unknown, baby. They're all going to be fighting and gnawing and clawing to be that defense that I know they're capable of. So it's going to be a fun season. Obviously, that's about all I'm going to go into. But I will tell you that they are going to fight. They are going to be a tough, nasty football team, and we're going to be fun to watch because we're going to do things the right way. We're gonna have some class about us, and we're going to have some fun.
Coach, where's the go-to place that your staff and yourself, you're taking recruits to dine when you're there in Livingston? Because you got some really, really good choices around there. I'm just curious. Is there a go-to for you guys?
There's a couple of steak places that are pretty nice. There's a Mexican spot, and then there's the bakery over here. And I think everybody knows about the bakery, and everybody knows about Diamond Gems. So
Diamond Gems, oh, it's so good.
We haven't had any overnight visitors yet to take them to dinner yet, but maybe one of these days I'll move out of the dorm and buy a house over here once my family gets here from Athens. And then when that happens, I'll cook for them. I'll get on the grill and cook for them like I've done for all my players.
Love it, Coach.
There you go. I want to ask you about your staff, Coach, before we let you go, because there are a lot of familiar names that Alabama fans will recognize. Kind of go down some of these coaches that you've been able to wrangle and come to West Alabama to help coach with you.
Well, I mean, one of the first calls I made was Damian Square. When I walked in, I didn't have a lot of positions to fill. We kept the staff. A couple of guys decided to change roles, so I had to fill a few spots. So the first spot I had to fill was a D-line spot, so I got Damian Square. And then the next spot I had to fill was the wide receiver position, so I got Blake Sims. And then I created some roles, right? I created roles like player development. So I got O.J. Howard to jump in and do player development. I got a running back coaching, Ronnie Clark. Bo Scarborough is my high school relations coach. Thomas Fletcher, my special teams coordinator, and does tight ends. I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm sure I forgot someone. Reggie Ragland, he's going to help my line.
My goodness.
My phone's been ringing. I've had visitors from a lot of different places. All my Bama guys are trying to come back and give their knowledge to these young men. And, the door's open. DJ Fluker called me and said, hey, he's going to play in the pros one more year, and then he'd love to come coach. And I'm like, come on, baby, let's go.
Love it.
That's how it's been with all these guys, when a guy like Damian Square, who's got 9 years in the NFL, and O.J. Howard, when those type of guys call and say, hey, I want to give back to the game, that's a special thing, and I know them probably better than they know themselves because I spent so much time with them, whether it be 3, 4, or 5 years coaching them. So I know the ins and outs, and I know what they're capable of, and I know what they're going to bring to the table. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time. I can't wait for them to get on the road, because when they go on the road recruiting, there might be some SEC coaches in the building while they're recruiting, and the kids are going to be like, hey, I want to see O.J. Howard. O.J. Howard was here? I can't wait for that.
Oh, that's going to be great. Well, listen, Coach, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to spend a few moments with us. Just want to remind everybody he will be the guest speaker, the luncheon, which will be held on May 13th at the club. WillBrightFoundation.com for more information how you can be a part of this special event. Coach, hope you'll come back. Best of luck and happy spring to you. Good to talk to you again.
Thanks, Coach.
So you can say go Tigers because we're the West Alabama Tigers. So
okay.
You can say go Tigers now. It's safe.
Okay. I can't. Yeah. Not that goo Tigers that Orgeron used to say.
No. Tigers with an ERS, not an AHS.
Tigers. Yeah.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Take care. That's Coach Scott Cochran joining us here on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
I have always admired him as a coach and what he's meant, not only at Alabama, but Georgia. But the admiration has grown to see his personal struggle and then now getting up off the mat and making an impact and continuing to make an impact in other people's lives, especially young people. That was awesome.
Sure was. Best of luck to Scott Cochran and the West Alabama Tigers in 2025. More three-man front here on Jocks 94.5. Great conversation with Coach Scott Cochran from West Alabama. Appreciate him spending a couple minutes with us. Once again, for information about the luncheon coming up next month, the Will Bright Foundation, go to their website and they'll give you more information on that. That's willbrightfoundation.com.
Well, we've been talking a lot about the NFL draft coming up. So it is Thursday, April 24th, and our friends over at Trim Tab Brewing, they are having an NFL draft party that night. Tub the Band will be there from 7 to 10. Myself and Pat, we're going to be there. So come by, come see us. Also, Red Mountain Crawfish will be there starting at 2 p.m. Also at Trim Tab, every Sunday is Fun Day with live music from 3 to 6. Also, Paradise Chow is there every single day. And coming up this weekend is actually Trim Tab's 11th anniversary weekend as well. So go by, check them out, as well as Blackberry Brief. So that's our friends over at Trim Tab Brewing.
Yeah, and if you've noticed the Conrad Van Order action figure that is now available at KB Toys, you will see that he's wearing a Trim Tab hoodie.
He is.
On the action figure. Did you get NIL for that?
No, I just got it for free for being such a great patron of their beverages. So big fan of Trim Tab. Hope everyone can come out. We'll have a good time out there for the draft. So they have great beer, great vibes. My favorite place to go in Birmingham to get a drink, no doubt.
Come by and see us next Thursday night at Trim Tab. Heather Dinich is reporting that next week in Las Colinas, Texas, where the CFP is going to meet, they are expected to discuss different future format options. No decisions are expected, but there is a desire to consider options beyond the 12-team status quo and a model with an automatic qualifier for the 2026 and beyond season. The commissioners are expecting the CFP to present different format options and ways to modernize the selection process. So that last line there tells me that you might look at more analytics, maybe some BCS computers being involved.
BS computers?
He knows what I did there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was funny. We were blasting the BCS when it was going on and then had no idea that this Tuesday night fiasco each week in October and November would lead us down the road of, hey, we kind of missed the computers. Can we bring them back?
Well, then we go and you look and, because people do, well, what would it be if we did have the computer rankings and you look at the actual rankings today and you're like, really not all that different.
No, just give us some transparency. Walk us through it.
That's why I think some of them cheat. Now, when I say cheat, I think they go to the Sagarin website.
Like the computers cheat?
No. I'm talking about the people on the committee.
Yes.
Oh, they use that to fill out their ballot.
I mean, they're saying they're going, okay, well, this is the way I have it.
Yeah.
Let me go
Let's see how it matches up.
Yeah, because it's just too similar that when we get that every Wednesday morning when we're sitting here going, well, if you look at what the old BCS formula had, it's almost identical.
Well, and here's total transparency. We put together our top 25s. I'll go over mine, and then I will look at a top 25 just to see, like, did I miss anybody?
Oh, like when we do ours on the show?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do the same thing.
You're going to cross-reference it.
Yes.
Those guys and gals in that room do the same thing.
I agree. 100%.
And there's a lot more conversations that go on. I don't. The recusing yourself, whatever. Okay, you can recuse yourself while you're in the room, but when you're having drinks at the bar, you tell me it didn't come up after you've had three whiskey neats.
And that was the whole NCAA tournament thing, right? Was, oh, well, Bubba Cunningham's not going to be in the room when we're talking about North Carolina. Right, because that's going to completely remove any potential bias of your buddy who's the AD at North Carolina.
So last night I was umpiring late, and I was able to get done in time, and I looked at my watch, and I said, okay, I got time. So I ran up to Chick-fil-A in Trussville.
Did you buy it?
No, I did what SEC Mike didn't ask me to do.
No Polynesian sauce.
No Polynesian sauce.
That's good. Good on you.
I was like, you know what? I'm not a Tennessee fan. I hate Philip Fulmer. A lot of languishing and long nights thinking about how he cussed me out at the SEC championship game, and it kind of marked me, to be honest with you. Bothered me greatly.
Maybe he meant the B word affectionately.
Possibly. Now
you and Pete Nakos have a bond now.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I decided when I went through the drive-thru, I was like, Polynesian sauce? No, I don't want it.
No,
don't ask me. So that was for SEC Mike. We've got some news, right, Molly? Coming out of the West Coast?
Yeah, so UCLA is holding strong on its offer to Nico, which is significantly less than $4 million.
Significantly less. What do we think that means? Like $250,000?
No.
And we'll buy your books?
It's got to be at least $2 million.
I was going to say 2.5. Between 2 and 2.5.
But what if they're going to allow him to play men's volleyball? You get NIL from that side too.
Who do you think, and I don't know this is just an open question. Who do you think the most expensive football player was on that roster last year for UCLA? Don't give me the name. I'm talking about the number. What do you think the number was from an NIL perspective for UCLA football?
I'm sure they had somebody making 1.5. Yeah.
Over $1 million. I would think.
1 to 1.5.
As like a wide receiver or a running back or
somebody.
Probably, yeah.
Sure. If that Dante Moore, I can't remember if he transferred to Oregon before last year or not, but he was a 5-star coming out. So he's probably making 1.5 million as a quarterback.
It also says that the relationship between UCLA and the Iamalievas is unique after Nico's brother flipped from the Bruins to Arkansas. And Pete is saying that UCLA was blindsided by Madden's decision to flip.
Well, shocker, his brother took more money to go to Arkansas, and that's why he flipped. That's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see where there'd be some bad blood there.
UCLA says, no, we're not interested.
Isn't his brother's name Madden?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a cool name.
Nico and Madden.
That is a cool name.
Madden Iamaliava.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of rolls off the tongue.
I'm assuming he's a quarterback too, right? Yeah. Yeah. It just gets better, doesn't it? Now the brother, like maybe that whole situation is.
I hope the random school that nobody's talking about emerges and they give him everything he wants and everybody just loses it.
It's just bizarre to think when this story started happening towards the end of last week, and we're sitting here on a Wednesday, and we're talking about Tulane and UCLA for Nico services. Now Tulane came out yesterday, not officially, but people covering the program said we're out. So now you're pretty much left to Bill Belichick, who turned 73 years old today.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday to Chapel Bill. Can I use Chapel Bill? Or is that
trademarked?
It's not. I'm glad I've already got a t-shirt.
Jordan's coming after you.
Do you know I got one?
Sorry.
You did?
I got a Chapel Bill shirt.
Oh, do you really?
I do.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it doesn't have the registered trademark on it, so.
I was about to say, now you have to buy a new Jordan brand Chapel Bill shirt.
I'm going to get me one
It'll run
made
you
at the
about
screen print
$70.
place down the street.
Well, you're at the beach this weekend. Just go down.
Yeah. Get that airbrush t-shirt.
Yeah. They look good.
You should recreate
Seashell
the
necklace.
mermaid pictures that Bill and Jordan did.
Yes, those were great.
With the fisherman's coat.
Oh, my gosh.
You can pick. You can be Bill or Jordan. It's up to you.
I would love for Nico to go to North Carolina. That would be just
get some headlines.
There's some rumblings. This was coming in on the text line 205-834-9450, and this one comes out of the state of Minnesota. At least the area code does, and it says I've heard Nico to Maryland is possible. Hearing any potential Tennessee quarterback transfer possibilities? ? Outside of Sawyer Robertson, who I'm hoping is a Vol, Avery Johnson, Jalen Daniels, and then he names a couple of other guys.
Yeah, see, I thought about this morning. I mentioned it on Morning Jocks, but, if you're Tennessee, I understand it's tampering. That's bad. You shouldn't do that. I mean, are you not calling Sam Levitt at Arizona State and pulling a, hey, buddy, you looked really sharp leading the Sun Devils to the playoff last year. We really think you can take us to the next level here at Tennessee. What are you making at Arizona State? We'll match it plus $500,000. We want you to be our quarterback. That's the kind of direction I would, make those guys say no if you're Tennessee.
Does Altmaier at Illinois still have eligibility?
Oh, my.
Well, he wouldn't want to leave because they're going to, they're winning a national championship this year according to Bielema, so they're going to be in the playoff. He doesn't need to leave.
A quarterback, if he's not an SEC school, that could be an option, and a guy that we saw that I think would be a really good fit in Josh Heupel's offense would have been Jacob Zeno. But now he's at Texas A&M.
Very much so. So yesterday we got news that Purdue and Alabama will play its non-conference men's game on November 13th, 2025 at Coleman Coliseum. Word has just been announced up in the great state of Illinois that the Illinois-Alabama game is now going to be set 1 week after the Purdue-Alabama game. And they're going to play the game not in Champaign-Urbana. They're going to play it at the home of the Chicago Bulls. They're going to play it at the United Center. So that's a big one. So Bama and Illinois at the United Center 1 week after Purdue comes to Tuscaloosa to play Alabama. So
now I'm glad I did the deep dive on that documentary, how they turn over the ice to the court to the concert.
Mm-hmm. Big time. All right, Coach Skip Holtz is going to join us next here on Three Man Front. We'll talk a little Birmingham Stallions football next on Three Man Front.
Well done, Conrad. Three-man front here on a Wednesday. And the coach of our Birmingham Stallions, Coach Skip Holtz, joining us now, and all of our guests join us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Coach, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are y'all doing today?
We're doing great. Let's go back. A win, first of all, last Friday night inside a Protective Stadium. It was a very interesting game, Coach. Let's just start there. Got off to the slow start. I thought the defense played really well. Both offenses had trouble putting points on the board, but when it mattered, your offense did it, and that is why you were able to secure win number 2. Just go back to last Friday and your big takeaways.
No, it was a strange game, because we started with a turnover right from the get-go on our third play of the game, and they end up kicking a field goal. So we're down 3-0, and we take the ball, and I thought did a really nice job, drove the length of the field, go down, thought we scored a touchdown, but fumble on the 2-yard line going in, and so we don't get that one. And I thought both teams moved the ball a little bit, but neither team was very efficient in the red zone. Kicked a number of field goals. Defense forced them to kick a number of field goals, which was really nice. But then I thought at the end of the game, with all the adversity right now, and I say adversity, in that game we lost 2 offensive linemen. We lost our center, Cole Snyder, and we lost our starting left tackle, Jaron Jones, because Christian DeLauro was out. And so we had 5 linemen. And I thought, all of a sudden Keaton Sutherland, who was playing left tackle, he moved to center. We had guards moving to tackle. We had to move a lot of guys around. And even with all that, at the end of the game, they were able to get it done and make a drive, put ourselves really interesting play with the 4th and 6 where we jumped off sides. And then it got reviewed with the offside. So we got another crack at it at 4th and 12 and converted that, and then went down the field and scored. And there at the end, I thought, Cade Johnson ran a great route there at the very end, and I thought that Matt Corral did a really nice job of reading the coverage and finding the open receiver to score the winning touchdown, and then to go for one to be able to go up by 1 point. So it was certainly an exciting game. I think offensively, we're not where we want to be. I think we're getting a little bit better every week, and we got to eliminate some of the mistakes offensively so we can put some drives together. And I thought defensively we played a really good football game. I think we're playing physical. We're playing together. We're communicating. I thought they did a really good job defensively. Some guys, the linebackers, are really stepping up with Pizzino and DeMarcus Gates and Chappelle and Tay Crowder. I think our secondary's playing really solid together. The one thing we've got to do is eliminate some of the penalties. We've got way too many penalties on defense, and we gave up 20 first downs, and 5 of those were by penalty. And it's going to be a long day if you start giving up 25% of your first downs by penalty. So we got to keep getting better. It's early in the season. There's a lot of football to play, but it was great to be back in Birmingham, and it was great to get a win.
All right, so let's talk about the defense because you mentioned it earlier. They only gave up 111 yards of offense to the Renegades there in the second half. And you mentioned all those trips to the red zone, and then the defense bowed up. And, of course, they got points, but it was not touchdowns. So just talk about that defensive unit right now for you guys.
Well, they were 4 for 4 in the red zone, and the statistic that we keep is red zone touchdowns. Once they get into the red zone, obviously what you'd like to do is to create a turnover or sacks and lost yardage plays to push them out of field goal range. And one time they were down in the red zone, our defense was able to do that, get a sack, and then created the turnover. And the other 3 times they were down there, they didn't let them in the end zone and made them kick field goals. And that's the difference of scoring 21 points or scoring 9 points, which turned out to be the difference of the game. And so I thought they're doing a really good job. They're not giving up big play touchdowns. They're keeping the ball in front of them, and they're being stingy in the red zone, which is a winning formula right now from a defensive standpoint. So I think Corey Chamberlain and the defensive staff, they're doing a great job. And I think some of those guys are really stepping up. A lot of new names with Bradley Ane, with Ronnie Perkins, Myjai Sanders is 3 new defensive ends, and Perry and Winfrey, the big guy inside, I think, along with some staples, Carlos Davis, Marvin Wilson, Willie Yarberry. I think those guys are playing really well up front as well. So I think defense as a unit right now, they're playing really well together. It's a very mature group. It's a very intelligent group. They're doing a great job of communicating, and really pleased with the way that they're playing right now. And until our offense can get its legs underneath us and really be playing at a higher level, we're going to need our defense playing the way they are to find a way to get some wins. And a lot of ways to win football games, and I'm prepared to win 10-9, and hopefully we can get ourselves to the point that we can win 35-32 if we need to.
Coach, you just mentioned the offenses, and it's not just your particular offense, but the trend kind of, and there's some exceptions across the league so far through the early part of the season, is that the defenses are way ahead of the offenses. Based on past years, is there anything that you can take away from that maybe is contributing to the lower offensive numbers we're seeing across the league?
I think we had less time in camp this year. I mean, obviously, and it takes 11 on both sides of the ball. But if 10 offensive guys all make their block and one guy whiffs and there's a guy in the backfield and he makes a tackle, it's a loss of 5. And 10 guys get a plus and one guy gets a minus and you lost 5 yards. On defense, 10 guys can all get blocked and one guy makes a play and you could get 10 minuses and 1 positive and get a production play from defense. So I think it takes longer. It's 11 guys pulling the rope all in the same direction. On offense, and I think you're looking at it all across the league. We had less time in camp. We had less numbers in camp, so the camp wasn't as long. And I think as we start to get into this, when I continue to tell our team, everybody right now is way ahead defensively than offensively. And it's going to be the team that gets it fastest that is going to make the most strides. But this league is about 10 weeks of getting better. It's not about just staying the same. It's about improving each and every week. And I think on top of it, one of the other variables that we've had on offense is, we lost Alex Magoo. We lost our quarterback week 1. So Matt Corral stepped in for his first game week 2 and then went into this week as his second week playing. We had C.J. Marable missed a week. Deion Kane missed a week. Jaron Jones is now on IR. LaMichael Petway in the opening game is now on IR. Alex Magoo is now on IR. We've had some injuries, and we just got to keep banging that rock, and we just got to keep getting a little bit better each and every week. And if we can continue to do that, find a way to win some low-scoring games early and get our offense in beat, then I think we have a chance to be a pretty good football team this year.
Talking to Skip Holtz, the Birmingham Stallions head coach here on Three Man Front, joins us each week here on the Higginbotham Hotline. All right, Coach, so give us a little scouting report of the Houston Roughnecks as you guys make that short trip from Arlington over to Houston to play a team that's 1-2 on the season.
Yeah, they're 1-2 on the season, but really playing. They won last week. They won 18-17 in a really close football game. They've been playing 2 quarterbacks, but I think they've really kind of settled in on one. They've got, again, their defense is playing really well right now. They're not giving up a lot of points. They gave up 17 last week, but they're not giving up a lot of points. I think they're IDing a little bit more who they are. They are right now built defensively with a lot of man coverage and a lot of pressure, which takes the offense a little bit more time to get it with all the pressure going on around them. But then offensively, like I said, they're really merging into a quarterback who's throwing the ball really well, and he's doing an awful lot with his feet. So I think anybody can beat anybody in this league. You can't look at any team and say, well, their record's 1-2, so this one will be an easier one. Everybody's got talent, and it may be a turnover here or a turnover there, but that's where I think we're going to be challenged this week. When you look at this, I believe Houston is the only team that we've lost to more than once in this league. And it'll be a challenge. We're playing down there. So looking forward to just getting the opportunity to go and see a little bit more improvement this week and see if we can find a way to score one more point than they do.
Coach, I want to ask you about playing in Birmingham. You guys have been magical the last 3 years, but my goodness, you've won 10 straight games inside Protective Stadium, and that's very special, being able to come back to Birmingham, and you had the banner unfurled, and you won in front of your home crowd. I know the weather kind of affected a large portion of the attendance on Friday night, but the enthusiasm was there. Just talk about being able to come to Birmingham with, of course, representing the Stallions in this city, what that means to you guys.
Well, it's special for us. And I know, with us being in Arlington, all our games are road games. We have to get on a plane to go play everywhere we go. But there is familiarity with Birmingham. The hotel is right across the street from Protective Stadium. It's convenient. We get a chance to play in front of family and friends. We lived there for 2 years. Our players are very familiar with Birmingham. It's our home crowd. I think they did an awful lot to keep pushing us along during that game with some of the struggles and being behind and the highs and lows. But I thought the way the crowd, yes, I'd like to see more people there, but I think the people that are there are very engaged. I mean, the way that they cheered that defense on at the end of the game, we had to get a stop. We had to go score, and I thought the crowd made a difference. And it's great to play at home when you've got people cheering for you and you got family and friends in the stands. And like I said, I'd just like to see it grow and continue to get bigger and bigger and more people being there, because the more that are there, the more it's going to create a home field environment. And I think when people do come, I think they enjoy it. I think they have fun. It's a great, engaged crowd that is very football intelligent. We've always talked about the knowledge of the fans in Alabama with the game of football. And I think they are very involved. Like I said, the way they cheered and the crowd noise they made for our defense out on the field, I think was a big boost and a big momentum for our football team.
Coach, in a pinch, you lose more offensive linemen. Could you use the thicker kicker to come in and maybe play a little low line?
My goodness.
Well, that's the first time I've been asked that question. I have not considered it, but maybe it's something I should be considering. I mean, he's been great. The way that he's kicked the ball, he's been great for us, and we're going to need him in these close scoring games. But, we've brought Darius Harper back, who was with us last year. Darius has been added back to our roster with some of the IR additions that have happened. Darius has played for us for 2 years. He knows the offense. Getting him back is definitely going to give us another lineman in there that's going to make us a little bit stronger. And we get DeLauro back again this week. So I like the way the offensive line is coming, and some of those guys are playing, but we've got to have a plan. And, we talked about, do you put a tight end in at tackle? Do you put a defensive lineman in at guard with what you do? But hopefully we don't get to that point. We were able to get out of that game with 5 linemen healthy, which is really all you need to play with the job those guys did.
Well, listen, we will look forward to seeing you back in Birmingham 2 weeks. Of course, this week you got Houston coming up. Best of luck, Coach. Always appreciate your time and candor. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Coach.
No, well, I appreciate it. I always enjoy talking with y'all, and looking forward to getting back to Birmingham. We'll go to Houston this week, but looking back to getting back to Birmingham next week and having the opportunity to play Memphis.
Sounds good. Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank y'all. Have a great day.
You
Bye
too.
now.
Giddy up. He didn't say giddy up.
I might have.
Cut him off early.
Yeah.
So you do that. You do. Not only does Rob Payne get cut off before he says War Eagle, now you're cutting Skip off.
He never cuts off Roll Tide.
No, no.
Only when Rob from Helena calls.
Yes. I know when Rob Red is butted.
Yes, Roll Tide.
Rob.
Rob.
Right.
Oh. I did not know if we've officially changed his name or not. Not sure. He joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
And it's perfect if you're going to be watching the Stallions, the UFL, maybe Major League Baseball, the beginning of the NBA playoffs. You can do it at Ramblers Sports Bar and Grill. Ramblers right there at 1630 2nd Avenue South. They're open for lunch all the way through dinner and late night, Wednesday through Sunday night. Get in there, enjoy some of the great food, whether it's the shareables and the starters. You can go steak and knife, some of the great handhelds like the smash burger or the chicken sandwich. Just an awesome place to go and hang out with friends. The 283-inch projector screen, all the video boards they have throughout. It's an upscale sports bar you have to try. Rambler Sports Bar and Grill, 1630 2nd Avenue South near Railroad Park. We continue. We'll get to your text. A lot of interaction on the text line, 205-834-9450.
It's 11:52, Jocks 94.5. This is transfer portal day, right? College football's transfer portal opens up today. We had over 25 players for Rich Rodriguez at West Virginia University go in the transfer portal. We mentioned a couple weeks ago during a Pat Ponder segment about Marshall, because, Marshall's head coach is now the head coach of Southern Mississippi, and they took a lot of players because once they change coaches, players have 30 days in which they can leave, and the majority of the players followed their head coach to Hattiesburg. And so then you also had other players leaving the transfer portal. So there was like 70-something players at Marshall that they needed to try to fill their roster needs. So the transfer portal will give them that opportunity today as it all begins.
Yeah, and no word on Nico. There's a lot of speculation out there. But for the folks that are just joining us, Pat, there was some interaction and someone kind of speaking on behalf of the family. And based on the statement, without knowing anything else, the Iamaliavas appear to be very comfortable where they are right now.
Yes, Front Office Sports, they were able to get in touch with the camp of Nico, and they asked the family what led to the quarterback's exit at Tennessee. And they said, what did we do wrong to steer him and put him in a bad situation? ? We didn't. End of quote. So if you just read that quote, not with any other context, to me, that just kind of tells me that they may be pretty happy with the way things have gone so far, or at least they're giving the indication of that. Meanwhile, On3 reported about 45 minutes ago that UCLA has continued conversations with Nico's camp, but UCLA is holding firm with their offer, Conrad, and we believe that's probably around the same number he had when he was at Tennessee.
Yeah, and the belief is that if you are not familiar, Nico has a little brother by the name of Madden, who is also a quarterback, was going to be a quarterback there at UCLA, and then kind of at the last second decommitted from UCLA and went to Arkansas, and the belief is that Arkansas ultimately gave him more money, and that's why he made that decision, and now it looks like maybe that's coming back to bite Nico because UCLA, and understandably so, maybe not so certain about doing dealings with this family again after they just had one of their commitments pull the rug out from under them at the last second, who is Nico's little brother.
Well, finally, and we've been waiting for this, Urban Meyer has spoken on the subject.
Oh, thank goodness.
Thank God.
This coming from our friends at On3, quoting Urban Meyer, quote, here's the reality. Tennessee is screwed. They got a problem. You lose a potential high draft pick. You have the backup quarterback left last year. Now you have a redshirt freshman that threw 9 passes as a freshman. You have 0 experience, and the portal opens as we speak. They're going to have to go and get one. He goes on to say, and here's the thing. There's a couple of key elements here. Everybody's saying, nice job, Tennessee, making a stand. I've got a little comment on that. Tennessee plays Florida usually every year in October. Can you imagine that game's going the other way and Coach Heupel grabs the microphone and stands on the 50-yard line at Neyland Stadium and says, it's okay, I made a stand way back when, end quote. Thanks, Coach.
It's just some interesting comment. I like that he just, Tennessee screwed.
Yeah.
Just, all right, okay, tells how you feel.
Well, him not showing up for practice and all of this playing out in the way that it did, I don't think that Josh Heupel. You don't think there was already resentment?
I'm sure there was, but let's be honest. When it comes to Urban Meyer, if we're talking about coaches making concessions for their players, I don't know if he's the.
Let's be honest. Who really cares what Urban Meyer says? I mean, seriously. I mean, I understand why Fox employs him. He's won a few national championships.
Yeah.
But
that's probably why they care.
But based on his off the field shenanigans and the way that he left Florida in a bizarre matter, that was.
You're not in the inner circle. You don't get it, Pat.
And go watch the Netflix documentary on all the wonderful people he had on that roster and all the wonderful things those people did to society. Did you see the meme? Never mind.
For somebody who has had so much baggage during their career, he's come off pretty clean.
Does it have to do with an old Florida player?
Yes.
Did he play in the NFL?
About what that person was doing the night that Florida won the national championship? It is 12 noon here on Jocks 94.5. This is Three Man Front. Pat, Molly, Landrum, Conrad with you until 2 o'clock. Great interview so far this morning. If you missed any of the three that we've had so far, you can go and download the Three Man Front podcast. Brian Edwards, Vegas Insider. Scott Cochran, the new head coach of the West Alabama Tigers. He joined us. That was a great conversation. And we just wrapped up a phone conversation with Skip Holtz, the head football coach of the Birmingham Stallions, as they're in Houston this weekend before they return home to Protective Stadium next week.
How about our friends at Prize Picks? Speaking of downloading, you can download the Prize Picks app today, and you enter promo code WJOX when you do so. After your first $5 play, you're going to get $50 back to your account. That's right. Enter promo code WJOX there at Prize Picks. When you download the app, you register your account. Your first $5 play, win or lose, you get $50 back from our friends at Prize Picks. If you don't know what Prize Picks is, it's the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. Millions of members, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. You can run your game all season long with Prize Picks today. I had to get this one in during the break, but they've got Spencer Strider as one of their particular player matchups. Spencer Strider, 4.5 strikeouts, more or less. Just because I'm a Braves fan and I love Spencer Strider, I'm going to go more than 4.5. And then for the Cardinals today, you got Steven Matz on the bump. 1.5 strikeouts, more or less, Pat?
More.
All right. So we're going to go more on Strider, more on Matz. If both of those guys have more than their projected totals, then you are a winner. Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. Just make sure you use promo code WJOX. And don't forget, you got Flex Fridays. They have theme days. Yesterday, we had the Taco Tuesdays and all kinds of fun stuff. And a lot of just Jocks listeners that have taken me up on it have responded, and they've said, man, you were right. This is great. It's a fun way to interact. Prize Picks, we appreciate them.
So the transfer portal has been open for basketball. A little bit of news on the Auburn front. If you missed it, Auburn basketball got a JUCO commitment from center Mika Orpium. What's his name?
It's not a Pernum.
A Pernum.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, it's not opium. Definitely not opium.
He is out of Butler Community College in Kansas. He's fresh off a standout freshman season. He averaged 9 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks per game. He's a native of Nigeria. He measures at 7 feet, 200 pounds. He shot 67% from the field. He took only 4 3-pointers last year in junior college. He has committed to Bruce Pearl and the Tigers. Meanwhile, on the football front, the only news coming out of Auburn is their backup center, a young man that played left guard at times, Braden Joyner. He has decided to enter his name in the transfer portal. He is 6'2", 328 pounds. So he has decided that he is going to look elsewhere. He was on the SEC all-freshman team this last year. So interesting move there for Auburn. I checked in just a couple minutes ago with some sources down in Tuscaloosa, and they said as of right now, there doesn't seem to be any movement one way or another of guys heading into the portal. They gave me a couple of names to watch out for. No household names as of right now in regards to the transfer portal for Alabama or guys that Alabama is looking at getting. Meanwhile, the Ole Miss Rebels, they have made it official. They have signed cornerback transfer from Clemson to Voy Fagan. He is now will be on the defensive side of the ball for Pete Golding and the Ole Miss Rebels. So that was made official this morning. He is an individual that has played at Clemson the last couple of years, and now he will add depth to the Ole Miss secondary.
And how about for Oklahoma making a little bit of a splash this morning? We talked yesterday about how Cal had 4 running backs enter the portal, the Brian Harsin effect, as we called it. But Jaden Ott, a very, very talented running back. I think we all remember some of the words that he had for Auburn a couple years ago that didn't pan out well for him, but he lands at Oklahoma officially this morning. So talk about Oklahoma, new quarterback, new offensive coordinator, new running back. Your receivers are healthy. Oklahoma on the up and up for 2025.
So what's going to be the excuse when they fall short again this year? That will be when they fire Brent
That'll
Venables.
be when they get rid of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. But hey, on paper, looking good right now.
Fire hope.
They will show him the door with no doubt about it.
Then he can go back to Dabo.
Meanwhile, on the Nico front, the latest that we can tell you is that the family, they feel okay with the way everything went down. In a brief interview they gave with Front Office Sports, they don't feel like they gave anybody any bad advice. They feel good about where they currently are. On3 is reporting that UCLA is continuing communication with Nico's family, but they are holding firm, according to On3, that they will not be paying that outrageous price that the family wanted from Tennessee. So don't know what that number is, but it is definitely much lower than the one that they wanted to stay in Knox County.
I just have to know who put that number, where that number came from for Nick. And surely he had a backup plan. I just have to believe that there's a backup plan. That maybe UCLA, they're reaching out to the family, but there's another school that has not been named that's going to pony up close to what he was making or more.
And I think we touched on this, and maybe it was yesterday, but earlier in the week of, these dollar amounts that we hear are inflated sometimes. And so, for example, the Ryan Clark audio we were listening to earlier about Carson Beck, I don't think the $4 million number for Carson Beck was accurate, right? But that's what some people heard and they ran with. I think we understand it's a little bit closer to maybe $3 million, which is still a ton of money. But I wonder if maybe that's one of those things that plays into a situation like this with Nico, where you see all of these, numbers being thrown around in the media, on social media. The Duke, oh man, Duke's paying $4 million a year for the Tulane quarterback. You're the Tennessee quarterback. You should be worth more than that. And you just wonder if some of these numbers and how inflated they can be, and they're not all encompassing the way that we might think that they are. If that leads to the situation with Nico, where they thought he was worth more than he really was because other guys are getting, or reportedly getting, more than they really are.
Well, the value in the market is escalated just like it has in any other sport in college athletics. Whereas now you're getting reports of elite guards in college basketball getting $3 million to go and play, where just a few years ago that wasn't even $700,000.
No, that's fair. And again, I mean, if what the market dictates, that's what you can get, right? It's capitalism at its finest. We see it in the NFL all the time. Whenever a new, that's the big deal. Whenever a position player signs, it was wide receivers a couple years ago. Now it's been quarterbacks. Now it's, defensive pass rushers. It's every time it's how can I get a little bit more than that last guy so I can be highest paid? It means a lot to these people.
Pete Thamel just went on the Pat McAfee show a few minutes ago, and he says that the market for Nico is crashing. Kind of like most of our 401ks within the last week.
There it is.
What?
Yeah. Hope he made some wise investments with the money he got from Tennessee the last 2 years.
Think you saw any of that money? You think
Daddy's got it? That would be another interesting wrinkle of how exactly does that work, right? Is it set up in a fund where when he turns 21, he gets all of the money? Does he pay his dad an agent fee or something where he gets a cut that directly goes to dad's bank account? I'd be very
Or does this
interested.
play out where it ends nasty? Like Brittany and her dad.
Aaron Rodgers 2.0.
Then he signs the book deal. And he really gets paid.
If he goes to a darkness retreat, then we can really start getting concerned. I wonder what Madden has to say about all of this.
By the way, is Aaron Rodgers still out there?
Yes, he is. He is available.
How much is Madden getting to play for Arkansas and Sam Pittman? I need to ask Ty. Text Ty.
Well, based on what we have been told about, not for Arkansas basketball, but Arkansas football, and how many guys have departed those rosters over the last couple of years, I wouldn't think it would be crazy money. But it has a great name, Madden. You just take like CBS NFL announcers and their last names. Nance. Go with Nance. First name for a kid?
I actually like that.
Nance isn't bad.
Nance, that's a good, yeah. I like that. Buck.
Seen that one plenty of times.
Romo. Romo Roberts. There we go. Be unique.
It's funny. Umpiring over these years, the hot name at the ballpark is Easton.
I would have thought TPX. What? I'll tell you a good Ole Miss name. Sumrall.
It's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. A lot of Eastons around the ballpark.
See that?
Mm-hmm. It seems like every other batter. Let's go, Easton. Hit the ball.
Just like that.
Do you have a lot of Rawlings out there?
No.
Any Wilsons?
No Worths.
What about Slugger? Just name your kid Slugger.
There's no Nakonas. Did you have a Nakona glove?
No, I did not. I had
only glove that is still made in the United States.
Really?
Yep.
I had Rawlings.
Made in Oklahoma.
I had a Rawlings and then a Nike.
It was a Rawlings.
Yep.
How long would you leave it under the car tire?
I'd wrap a baseball up and I would just take these industrial rubber bands around it and then just oil it with a baseball inside of it. Leave it there good week.
Wait, you put it under the car tire?
Mm-hmm.
See, I would sleep on it. Put it under the mattress. I guess the car tire probably works better.
Yeah, I think it works a little bit better.
It took me a couple days.
I don't know. It depends on your mattress. What are you sleeping on there as a kid? Concrete block?
Think of cinder blocks, yeah. That'd be good. It might teach me how to change a tire. I can work on my breaking my new glove while I'm at it.
It's a good combination.
I thought everyone did the mattress thing. That's just what what I was taught.
And you would have the Rawlings glove that was signed by somebody. So Ozzie Smith, that was a popular glove.
I'm sure that's the one Pat had.
Here's another one. Here's a throwback. Brett Saberhagen.
Yep.
I had one of his gloves one year.
Not a fan of him.
No, I bet you're not.
Nope.
Mm-mm-mm.
Not at all.
Texts are coming in 205-834-9450. And I don't know. I'd have to get context on that one. Something about being made in Nocona, Texas.
Oh, is it Texas?
Yeah.
It was either Texas or Oklahoma. Family-owned business.
This one rolls in. It's really crazy to think that Tim Tebow and his family allowed him to get involved with the Urban Meyer and that cesspool. And it also gives some clarity on why Mike Shula really had a chance to lure him to Bama. Very true. Cody says, Conrad always put my baseball in my glove, wrap it, stick it between my mattress and box spring for a week. Everybody I knew did that growing up.
Maybe it was just a generational thing.
It might have been.
Maybe my parents
we were
worried I was
under the car
myself.
tire.
Yeah.
Yep. Posey says Tennessee needs Raiola. Ooh, that'd be interesting.
I don't think so.
Maybe him and Matt Rule, a package deal.
What do you think he makes at Nebraska?
I don't know, but I bet I could figure it out.
You think he makes more than 2?
I'd be surprised if it was more than 2.
What? I wouldn't. He was going to Georgia.
I was thinking he's probably making $2 million.
$2,001,000.
Only the best for Patrick Mahomes Jr.
We had Coach Scott Cochran on earlier. This one rolls in. Am I the only one who just became a big West Alabama fan? And I hope he's got a big coach to pull on his belt like he used to do with Saban. Love Coach Cochran. Yeah, it's good.
Says his NIL evaluation is 2.3.
Y'all are breaking the bank over there, Nebraska.
Yeah, I saw where the coldest is back in the transfer portal. Did you see that?
He is.
No.
Again.
Yes.
I was about to say he's
It's like his third school.
he's been a bit of a journeyman.
Yep.
He's a package deal with Nico.
Leaving La Tech.
If Iamaliava didn't already have another deal in place, these programs are going to be thrift store shopping. He won't get anything close to the 2.4. He just stiff-armed Mark and Homewood. Thank you, Mark.
I want to go back to something that Conrad mentioned yesterday, and we kind of poo-pooed the idea because we poo-poo most of the ideas Conrad has.
But he every now and then.
But he did throw up a scenario
Mm-hmm.
of, do you think he might end up back at Knoxville?
Mm-hmm.
Would that not be something if they miscalculated and nobody wanted Nico, and then Tennessee realized that there was nobody for them to go out and get?
Well, that's my thing. If you can get him back for half of what you're already paying him, why not?
No.
Yeah.
No. What would be great is if FedEx got involved and Nico went to Memphis.
Then that would be funny. That would be good.
FedEx has got the cash if they wanted to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Thamel says the market's crashing for Nico.
That's what he said.
So do you think the longer, if we go throughout this week, we don't have any resolution by Friday? It's a bad sign?
I still maintain, because of the fact that he entered the transfer portal and he put the tag on there, do not contact me.
He's got a lander.
That typically means that they have something in place and it is just a matter of time before it's announced.
My thing is, if that is the case, and I can buy into that a little bit, the reason we haven't heard it is because officially he could not go into the portal until today.
Mm-hmm.
And the school on the other end would say, we don't want this to look like we were tampering, when that goes on everywhere.
True.
But just give it a little bit of time to breathe, and then we'll make the announcement.
That very well could be a scenario that works out.
A lot of phone calls, 205-834-9450 or 800-239-WJOX.
Let me tell you about my good friends over at Abide Roofing, Travis Lloyd and his local roofing team. They are absolute pros, and they're offering something tremendous right now. How about a complete free roof inspection? No strings attached. No pressure. They just want to give an honest look at what's going on top of your roof and give you some options if there's loose shingles. Or in my case, I had to get a brand new roof because they found multiple issues and problems. They can help you with that too. Trust me, folks, speaking of that experience and that horrible moment that I realized that I had a leak, not only in my attic, but it was coming through into my kitchen. That's when I called Travis Lloyd at 205-922-7134. You can also go to their website, abideroof.com. These folks, they know exactly what they're doing, and I trust these guys 100%. They are licensed, they're bonded, they're insured, they're the real deal. Your roof protects everything you care about, so don't wait for a leak to show up and then provide you more problems with your house. Be proactive. Call Abide Roofing today. That number again is 205-922-7134. Do it for your home. You won't regret it. That's abideroof.com.
We will get to your phone calls as we roll on here on this. You can't be sending me this stuff, Molly. That's a new screensaver, though. 3-man front, Jocks 94.5.
$12:21, Jocks 94.5 on this Wednesday. Thanks for tuning us in. It's 68 degrees, a beautiful Wednesday. Appreciate you making us a part of your day. Download the 3-Man Front podcast, and you can go back and listen to all the great interviews that we had, including Brian Edwards, Scott Cochran, Skip Holtz today. Rodney Orr and Rob Pate will be on the program tomorrow, two of our featured guests. So Rodney Orr will give us the very latest from the Alabama transfer portal. And obviously, we'll spend a good bit of time talking to Rob Pate about a very close friend and one of his former coaches, Bill Oliver, who passed away here recently. Just an incredible individual and just a better man than a defensive coordinator that many people will not only say that was one of the best that's ever graced the Tuscaloosa and the Auburn sidelines. Just a great individual. So we'll talk to Rob Pate tomorrow about that.
Well, congratulations are in order for the Wallace State men's and women's tennis teams, as both of them won their ACCC championships this past week. Additionally, Wallace's Noelle D'Angelo was named the ACCC Women's Tennis Player of the Year. James Edley was the Men's Player of the Year, and Coach Tim Gardner was awarded the conference's Men's Coach of the Year award as well. So both teams will now advance to the National Tennis Championships in Florence, South Carolina. For more information on the Wallace State Lions and their athletics, go visit athletics.wallacestate.edu.
So how's it looking north of the border right now? I'm not talking about the tariffs. I'm talking about the Braves and the Blue Jays.
Right now, they head to the top of the second inning, and there's no score. Spencer Strider, in his return, struck out the first two that he faced, then gave up a double, then just got a lazy fly out. So Spencer Strider is back, and good news is all he needs is 3 more strikeouts for me to hit my more on my prize picks projection.
How's the elbow looking? Intact?
So far, it is still attached to his body.
So he hasn't had a Dave Dravecki moment?
Oh, my gosh. And that's what I keep thinking about, Pat.
Have you ever seen the video of that?
No. Is it
you
easily
haven't. You
accessible
haven't.
on
It took
YouTube?
you way too long to respond. You have not seen that video, and I want you to watch it right now.
Yeah.
And we need your real-time reaction.
What was his last name?
Dravecki.
Dravecki.
San Diego Padres.
Oh, well, yep, that didn't have to look hard for that one. All righty. Let's see what we've got. Is this like all time disgusting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like worse than Marshawn Lattimore both times at South Carolina?
Just watch it.
I want to know what I'm getting. Oh, wow. Welcome back, Dave. That's how they start the video with the welcome back. Okay. Well, he just completely fell down. I need the close up though.
I don't know if you're going to get the close up.
Yeah.
Wait. Did he lose his arm?
Yeah.
Oh.
Watch it, Molly.
No.
Molly, watch it again.
I saw
Watch
Google
it.
image and that was enough
Watch
for
it.
me.
Watch it.
Watch
Molly.
it.
I'm done.
Go eat something and come back and watch it.
Don't make me block your number again.
That's
I cannot believe you being a air quotes baseball fan and you didn't know who Dave Dravecki was.
I'm sorry, Pat. I'm not.
I mean, he was a very good pitcher
Sure.
before he ran into arm problems.
Ugh.
I mean, that's just
Pretty significant.
Very much so.
So what was?
He was coming back from an arm injury.
Yes.
Yeah. And
But that injury, he had to have his arm amputated because of that injury?
no, just it ended his career, obviously.
Oh, well, the video that I was showing, it went immediately from the highlight, and then it showed what looked like an interview with him in more present day.
He's missing an arm.
And he's missing an arm, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So we're hoping that doesn't happen to Spencer Strider.
Yeah, I would hope not either. Can't wait to eat my lunch now. Woohoo. That was gross.
Are you watching it?
You got chicken wings?
I got.
No, I do not have. Those are the ones that just hurt. Like you just got to move your arms or something just to remember. Like, okay, I'm good.
See, when you have,
elbow's
if
not
you're
good.
having a bad day, you think back to that clip and go, you know what? It could be worse.
It could be a lot worse.
It could always be
That
worse.
is. So was that Tommy John's? Like he was coming back from Tommy John's and then that happened? Because obviously Tommy
Was
John's.
it Tommy John's?
Because that kind of stuff back then was much different in terms of
I don't know
recovery.
if it was Tommy John's. 800-239-WJOX. Let's get to your phone calls. Rob has been waiting patiently. Hey, Rob.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Rob from Helena, formerly Rob from Helena, or I heard you guys talking about what my name was now. I
Well,
don't
Conrad
know.
named you Roll Tide Ron Ron or
Yeah.
Rob Rob.
Ron. No.
Was it Ron Ron or Rob
Well,
Rob?
It was Ron.
Rob.
It started with me and Molly at
That's right. That's when you and Molly were over there on that side table talking.
Say what?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. It started with us, and she said, "I think that's a good name." And then I.
Oh, so Molly came up with that.
It.
That's right. Molly came up with the name. That's her nickname for you.
And I told him, I
Molly?
was like, you can use it if you want. Yeah.
So Molly came up with your name. That's so cute.
That is cute.
And
she's like a software program.
I try.
Y'all stop.
You need a caller handle. You just type in your name and Molly.
And then I asked Conrad about it, and Conrad said, "Drop just one Rob." I believe is what you said, Conrad. Just Roll Tide Rob. And so
I'm going back and forth still.
Are you? Because I think you were kind of liking Rob from Helena for a while there. You didn't want to, have to go through this is Roll Tide Rob, formerly Rob from Helena or what have you. But anyway, why don't we let the audience decide? Because Molly, since you and Conrad can't do it, let's let everybody else decide.
Okay.
Maybe the people.
I don't know if you want that.
Maybe the guys from Social Taco can tell you. I will tell you this: Don does not like Rob.
Well, and that was the thing, is I didn't want people to get y'all too confused.
That's even better. Now that name's going to stick.
Conrad. Hey, I apologize. I wasn't there yesterday. My wife has a herniated disc, and I've been having to take her back and forth to therapy, and we both missed work on Monday. But she's I tried to pick her up to put her in the bed on Saturday night. She's like the size of Molly, and of course I'm an old man, and I threw my back out trying to do that.
Oh gosh!
But anyway, I'm back at work, and I was back at work yesterday, but I couldn't come up there. Hey, on the Nico situation, don't you listen to Mac and Cube this morning? Don't you guys think that this is just like, and Conrad, I think you might have mentioned it this morning on yours and Damien's show. Isn't this the greatest opportunity to kind of put a halt to all this stuff, and maybe we can all just come to an agreement and say, all right, this is the cap for a position or something like that. And you know what? Of course, I'm an Alabama fan. I'm not a Nico fan, nor am I a Tennessee or a Heupel fan. But I love the way he's handling the situation, and I think he might just put a stop to all this madness.
Maybe so, but it's easy for us if it's not you're not in need of a quarterback. Your job's not on the line. You haven't been told privately by your athletics director you need to win 9 games, and it's easy for us to say yes, take a stand. But if that school is in desperate need of one and they feel like he's a really good fit, is that school ultimately going to take a stand? No, I think that he's going to land somewhere. Now, it might not be for $4 million.
Well, I hope not. I mean, isn't he the one that stepped out of bounds instead of throwing the ball on the last play of the game when they lost the game last year? Mm-hmm. Didn't he step out of bounds instead of throwing it in the end zone?
That was against Arkansas.
Was it against Arkansas?
Mm-hmm. It was.
Yeah, he was spectacular in that game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He was spectacular in every game. But not. And that's what I'm saying. Why would he think he'd be worth more? I don't know. But anyway, it's great talking to you guys. Thank y'all for getting me on.
Thank you, Roll Tide, Ron.
It's Rob.
Oh,
come on.
Sorry. Molly was sending me a note. She's saying it was, I thought you said it was Ron.
No, it's Rob.
Rob. Okay.
Rob.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Roll Tide, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Got it.
Well, we'll figure all that out. So, but Pat, if you want to call me Ron, I'll call you Rat, or I don't know. We can mix it all up. But anyway, you guys have a good afternoon and
Thanks,
take
Rob.
care. And I hope to see y'all next Tuesday.
Hope your wife gets feeling better.
Yep. Seriously.
Well, what about me? I'm hurting too.
Nah, we're not worried about you.
All right.
Wow. Lance, I'm quick on the trigger again.
Well, I mean, how long are we going to let that thing go?
Well, it just...
He said he's going to call you Rat. It's not nice. We'll continue with your phone calls. Also your texts. Some of these. 205-834-9450, 800-239-WJOX. It's the Wednesday edition of Three Man Front as we continue here on Jocks 94.5.
1235, Jocks 94.5, 1-800-239-WJOX. We're taking your phone calls. Also, the courtesy GMC text line, 205-834-9456. Just give us a call. Give us a text. We'd love to hear from you. You know, courtesy in Trustful, they're going to beat any deal on a brand new GMC. They recommend that you go to courtesybirmingham.com. You pull up all the wonderful brand new GMCs that they have, and they want you to compare other GMC dealerships, not only in the Birmingham metropolitan area, but I'm talking about across the state of Alabama, even in the Southeast. I stopped by Courtesy just the other day, and Drew Lawley and myself, we were sitting down and taking a look at this impressive inventory that they have there, whether it's the 2025 GMC Sierras, the 2025 GMC Yukon, the Yukon XLs, the GMC Canyons, the Acadias, the Terrains. It goes on and on and on. And so he gave me an example. He pulled them up and he said, this is what we're offering here at Courtesy GMC. Now, let me pull up this dealership. Let's go in the Florida Panhandle. Let me show you this dealership. And when he did that, not that I discounted what he was telling me all of these years that I've known and I've traded there at Courtesy GMC, but it's right there at courtesybirmingham.com. There's the proof. They will not be beat. Give them a call. Go by and see them. Go to their website. It's easy to locate right off of I-459 exit 32 in Trustful and Edwards Lake Road, right next to Lowe's. You go to the website, courtesybirmingham.com, and you're going to see for yourself just the best deals anywhere on a brand new GMC. That is Courtesy GMC in Trustful.
The text line, a lot of texts coming in, 205-834-9450. We'll get to just a few of them. Going back to Rob's call. It says, great call, Ron. You should never call back. Oh, man. That's what I told you. Don't solicit. Just don't do it. Just call me Nod because I'm the opposite of Don. Roll Tide.
Okay. Clever.
Plum Rob. Wet Willie Rob.
I feel like we're missing some backstory or something with these, maybe.
Cody said, can I just call him Mr. Robert? Huh?
I like that one. Mr. Robert.
Posey says, Tennessee did put their foot down, but they also created this monster by paying him so much starting in high school. Yep.
Well, I mean, you got him out of high school because you paid him the most money.
Yeah, and
so
then,
are we really surprised that 2 years later, he's going somewhere else because he thought he could get more money?
But not only that, a federal court case and a district judge having to hear all of that and the nonsense that transpired because of it. Smokey from Jasper says, with Nico's stock tanking, I'm sticking with him playing for Dan Mullen. UNLV? Going back to the conversation we were having with Coach Scott Cochran, the bakery that he was talking about is the Mennonite Bakery, and it's called Taste of Home. It's one of the best kept secrets in Alabama. Their homemade cinnamon bread and lasagna is fabulous. Appreciate the text. We'll get to your phone calls, 800-239-WJOX. PG, welcome in.
Hey, good afternoon, gentlemen. Boy, was that a fun day yesterday. I tell you, Molly right there, I thought we was doing a still shot. I didn't know you guys were doing a video, and I'm doing all kinds of things above her head with all kind of, hand gestures and stuff, and I felt bad.
No, it's okay.
It was a bit, because I was putting a little rabbit head up on you, and there was your sign about it.
You are fine, PG.
I haven't, thanks, Molly, because I'm in trouble now with Molly.
No.
Hey, guys. Hey, what a great weekend. Don's talking about a great weekend he had. Man, Florida had a great weekend. Think of the scrimmage, the 8A game. We saw some offense. I know it's a mob, vanilla defense. They didn't blitz and all that, but we got some – he talked about his receivers at Auburn. That number 5-star Dallas Wilson that decommitted from Oregon, headed to Florida, got to Florida now. He was the star of the show in that spring game. They were completing – and this wasn't even Lagway throwing.
He had like 200 receiving yards, didn't he, PG, or something like that?
Yeah. And then you had the others, Montgomery and a few other freshmen. I'm telling you, this offense the running backs look good, Jackson and Ball. I said, I think the offense is going to be better than what I've ever expected. It's been a long time. But, I think 3 top 10, in the 3 years, they brought in some good classes now that Florida's going to be. Hey, Sunbelt Billy has no way but up. He can't go nowhere because Todd Golden put him in a worse position, don't you guys think?
Sunbelt Billy.
Yeah, Sunbelt Billy. Yeah, he better go up now because he's got plenty of staff down there, talent. And by the way, Landrum, how about them Rays taking 2 out of 3 on the Braves?
That was great.
Of course, we the Rays are just what are they? 8-9. They did beat the Red Sox 15-1 the other day, which was awesome. Anytime beat the Red Sox or the Yankees, we're really doing good.
I do like the tweaks to the uniforms. I wasn't a big fan of the City Connects, but yeah, I like the guys went with the old school look that actually had the stingray.
Yeah,
on the hat.
What they call the Devil Rays.
Yeah.
And I think they changed the devil off it because they were getting a lot of heat from it.
Yeah, the church folk in
no pun
Tampa
intended
did not like the word devil.
Devil, yeah, the Rays, But hey, look at the Sun Devils out in Arizona State.
Yeah, they're going to leave Duke and Arizona State and all those schools alone.
Yeah.
New Jersey.
Hockey. Oh, no doubt. But hey, one more good thing: our baseball teams came alive. We won 5 straight now. I don't know if we can make it to. Do all 16 teams get into Hoover, or do they just?
Yes, all of them will be in Hoover. It will be a single elimination. It will be a little bit different, the bracket, but all 16 teams, which will be incredible, will be coming to Hoover around the Memorial Day holiday.
You guys going up there a lot? I plan to.
Oh yeah,
to go up there.
No, we're up there a good bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. So, and then I'm waiting on the women's gymnastics. Maybe we won our 4th in a row, not in a row, but 4th national championship in gymnastics. We're beating LSU, and Oklahoma's going to be tough.
I think you guys have won enough. I think.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, it's been this sort of a year for Florida, except for the football. Well, they did win a bowl game, but I mean, this has been a good. It brings PG back into life, and instead of been sitting on the sidelines going, "How's my volleyball team doing?" Something a little more exciting to talk about again. So
there you go.
But guys, always loved being with you guys. Enjoyed every Tuesday, and I'm glad we had a good crowd and more people come out. I love it. It's good, especially being retired. I'm trying to find things to do.
Well, we enjoy hanging out with you and all, the entire group, and we had some new folks that came up there, and we always appreciate it there at Social Taco.
Oh, no problem. You guys take care.
All right, you as well. Thank you, PG. Let's go to our friend Dr. Mel. Hey, Dr. Mel.
Hey, guys. How are you all this afternoon?
We are well. Thank you, sir. How are you?
Doing well. I spoke with Conrad. I tried to call yesterday, and I hope Molly is sitting by, and because Molly will take a break from all the Nico news. And so as I spoke with you all a few days ago, my dear friend Bernard Longer, this was his 41st Masters. He didn't make the cut. He was +3. He missed it by 1 stroke, but this man will still be a winning machine at the age of 67 on the senior tour. And they'll be in Birmingham next month. And so I'll have 3 or 4 player passes. So hopefully I can get you guys out, the 3 of you all. I can get you all out one day to meet Tom Lehman and Bernard Longer.
Oh, that'd be great.
Two great golfers, and we can get a meal in the Players Lounge. And so I'd like for y'all to do that. But Molly, here's the thing. I have the utmost respect for women. Our daughters used to tell them that, don't listen to this nonsense from men. But here's the deal, Molly. I was shared with Conrad. I played the Masters Fantasy Golf for the last 7 or 8 years. And so my actually second pick was Rory. I had Scotty Scheffler as my winner of the tournament. And also on my team was Morikawa,
Here we go.
Fleetwood, and Maverick. And, of course, I used DeChambeau as an alternate. Never did use him. But this the thing, Molly. I didn't change my lineup. Day 1, I was 8 under. Day 2, round 2, I was 8 under. Round 3, 10 under. And on Sunday, I was 6 under for a total of -32.
Wow.
And I sent you the screenshot. I finished in the top 15 out of 627,000 people. So this is the deal, Molly. I have the utmost respect for women and your job and for the University of Nebraska, but I'm coming after that green jacket next Tuesday. We'll let Don do the presentation, and Pat and Landon and Conrad can do the cheering for me. But yeah, wind up in the top 15. But a great competition. You guys do a great job. And just one more comment on the serious side. I've been in the healthcare profession for 58 years. back in 1994, and I think I may have mentioned to you guys back in the day. I was a teenage foot soldier, former Mayor William Bell, and I had promised Dr. King and Pastor Shellsworth that one day I would attend law school before I retired. Well, I took a sabbatical in 1994. I applied to law school at Alabama, Cumberland, and Miles, and so I chose Miles. I finished law school, but my goal for attending law school was to help the churches and the nonprofits and help the young athletes. And so for 15 years, I was not a sports agent, but a counselor. And I tried to help these young people put their lives in order. And at this hour, as we speak, I still represent 2 or 3 coaches. I don't represent players anymore. I'm like Coach Saban. I saw this thing going off the rails 7, 8 years ago, but I do represent a few coaches. Now, this here will straighten this entire mess out. What the NCAA need to do, they dropped the ball many years ago. The NCAA, when they came along with the sports agent registration that each agent has to register in each state, can't talk with the students, have to go through the university. What they're going to have to do is put a cap on, and we don't need Congress. The NCAA can mandate this. If a player is a 5-star player, a maximum of $250,000 a year. If he's a 4-star and a graduated skier, and if you do this across the board, then number one, you won't have players running from pillar to pole. They won't have 8 or 9 colleges that they are attended. They can concentrate on their education, and then if they're going to play at the next level, have a good career. But it will cut out all the nonsense. Also, the portal need to be shut down to 1 time a year. There has to be some loyalty. But if these steps are taken after my many years in the industry, this will solve many, many of the problems that's on the horizon today, in particular the Nico situation. You all do a great job. I thank you for your time and your effort, and roll tide.
Thank you, Mel. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mel. We continue 3-man front on Jocks, 94.5.
1251 Jocks 94.5. Phone lines are open at 1-800-239-WJOX. Appreciate the head football coach of West Alabama, Scott Cochran, joined us earlier in the program. Also on the show, head coach Skip Holtz of the Birmingham Stallions. I saw where Don Don was prominently featured on the Birmingham Stallions website, Molly. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was looking for a picture to use for the audiograms that we post. And I was scrolling on the UFL website, and there he is.
At their tailgate.
At their tailgate,
He said they had a great tailgate. Did you go by the tailgate Friday night, Landrum? You were at the game.
No. We arrived late. My wife had to work, as most people do, and waited for her to get home, and we got there just before kickoff. Sorry I missed it.
Did you have an opportunity to say hello to Don Don?
I did not. Remember the show I told you I saw him? I was not in his section, but I saw him walking
he
up,
was
toting his shoe.
He was doing interviews, though, right?
That was on Thursday night.
Oh, Thursday night.
Yeah, we were there at Rambler Sports Bar and Grill in Fox Weather. But he might have done more interviews after that.
He was doing, he sent me a picture. I saw a picture of him doing some on the gravel lot where they had the pregame on Friday.
I think that's where the picture Molly was showing.
It was, yeah. It was in that lot.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get a picture of Don Don on top of the horse. The horse that you guys posed in front of last year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What's the horse's name? I know Stanley is the mascot horse, but the actual horse, is it?
Giddy.
Is it Giddy?
I don't know. That'd be a good name.
It would be it'd be a great name.
We just named it. It's Giddy.
You buy apple slices that you can feed Giddy?
Oh, of course.
Speaking of which, hey, Don Don.
Y'all having fun talking about me, guys?
Molly, yes.
Yeah. What's up, Miss Green Jacket?
I'm good. How are you?
That looked great on you yesterday. Hey, I knew you were going to beat them, Molly, especially Conrad, man. Picking an Alabama guy. You should have. Why didn't you pick Davis Riley or Justin Thomas, Conrad?
Because I'm an idiot, Don Don. That's why.
There it is.
I'm an idiot.
Hey, no, you're saying that now, not me.
Oh, I know.
Everything. But hey, Landrum, I don't know if that horse could take big old Don Don on him or not, though. I don't know if that's a good idea.
No, horses are resilient. They could take you.
Okay. Well, guys, I mean, my goodness gracious, Pat. So Rich Rod had 25 people leave.
25, and I think it's a little bit more now. I think it might be 30.
Okay. Well, I got to you're talking about the Auburn basketball guy. You know who he reminds me of? You know, we had a player from Nigeria somewhere a long time ago in '98.
No, you're thinking of Mamadou Ndiaye.
Remember him?
Yeah, he was from Dakar, Senegal.
Yeah, he's coaching. Landrum, he's coaching somewhere because he's trying to get another kid to come to Auburn.
So you think this is the answer to Janai Brim and Dylan Cardwell?
That's what I told you this morning on my text. Yes.
Okay.
Now I think the 7-footer is not going to be Broom. A 7-footer might be Cardwell with his defense and everything, and the other guy, Miles Murphy. Didn't he average about 12 points a game at Mississippi State?
He did.
Okay. And Landrum, you said he was from Ramsey, right?
Yes. Correct.
Okay. Well, I think we got a good one, but I tell you what, on the football front, I don't like Braden Joyner leaving. I think that's a big loss for us.
What areas concern you the most? Where do you think Auburn should shop in the portal? Is there anything that you think needs to be shored up?
Linebackers.
Okay.
Linebackers, and I can tell you why those two defensive backs left, Pat and Landon, when y'all covered in high school. Fagans and Eric Winters and Blake Woodby, they saw the writing on the wall. All three of those freshmen are going to be in the rotation this year.
Yeah, the one area I did hear that Auburn was going to look at was going to be on the defensive side of the ball. The defensive line.
Yep. Jay Hardy's a guy that started his career at Auburn. He's at Liberty, and then he might be coming back to Auburn, seeing that. You can always use more defensive linemen.
Oh, absolutely. As a matter of fact, Pete Nico has brought up this morning with Cole that Auburn was definitely already talking to some defensive linemen that they thought were going to enter the portal today. So
But I'll tell you what, though, the freshman, the kid from Parker, Jordan Crawford, there's another freshman that'll play, and the kid from Thompson, too, that I saw a couple of times. What's his name?
Jared Smith.
Jared
You were there
Smith?
at his signing party. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Well, that's right. Yes, sir, I was. But they made all of the fans leave. We couldn't stay.
Yeah, they kicked you out. They didn't know who you
They
were.
did,
If they
No,
know that
they
you were
knew.
Don, then you'd have been able to stay.
Well, you know, Pat, I've been thrown out of a lot of places over the last 40 years, so I'm kind of used to
What's
that.
what's the last place that you were thrown out of?
Sammy's in the 90s.
There's,
Any follow-ups?
there's a story there.
Like I told you yesterday, Pat, I need an author to write a book, okay?
It was amazing because our old radio station, Paul and I, we'd leave the radio station and obviously we'd go right by Sammy's.
I thought you were going to say.
And the number of people.
We got a table right there.
The famous people that you would see in the parking lot going into Sammy's the summer that Michael Jordan was here playing for the Barons. Let's just say Charles Barkley was a frequent visitor there on Valley Avenue.
One o'clock here on this Wednesday on Three Man Front, a busy show. Our Vegas insider Brian Edwards joining us in the 10 o'clock hour, told us who he likes at the beginning and the start of the NBA playoffs. Scott Cochran, newly named West Alabama head football coach, and Coach Skip Holtz. All of that available at the podcast, jocksfm.com. We appreciate our listeners on Sports Radio 740. That would be Jocks 740 there in Montgomery. Also, our listeners up in Huntsville, wherever you're listening via the app or watching us right now on YouTube on Jocks TV. We appreciate all of you. All of your interaction is always appreciated as well. Transfer portal opening today. It's been open in college basketball, and Auburn adding to their class for next season. Earlier today, they get a 7-footer. So already a 6'10", Keyshawn Murphy that they got from Mississippi State yesterday, and he made it official. But today, Auburn gets a 7-footer. Originally from Nigeria, came over to the States as I'm reading his bio line, Conrad, back in August, and he played for Butler Community College there in Kansas and averaged almost 10 points per game. And will be interesting to see. You can always use a 7-footer, I guess, a rim protector, but he was a guy who played pretty good defense. We'll see how it translates to the SEC.
Yeah, and we talked about it earlier with both, this move and what you saw from Alabama, I guess a couple of weeks ago now with Noah Williamson, the 7-footer from Bucknell. You can see that both of these teams identifying they needed to get a little longer, a little taller after going up against the likes of the Floridas and the Dukes and those types of those teams in the NCAA tournament. So, I think this is a good start to a what's going to be a very, very important portal cycle for both of these programs trying to replace Janai Broom, Mark Sears, Philon, Pettiford. The list goes on and on, but some of the most pivotal players in program history for both of these teams are going to be gone, and they're going to have to replace them.
Mika Opurum is how I'm going to pronounce it. That is his name, and so Bruce Pearl and Auburn continuing to host visits. We'll see who else they decide to add to their roster, and then still some uncertainty there with Tahad Pettiford, but the belief, if you're going to have to decide on one side or the other, is that Pettiford would be coming back.
Yes. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens with both the Auburn and Alabama rosters. Some news that happened this morning that we haven't gotten to yet, though, in the portal. So we all remember, because we talked about this guy, but Trayson Eaglestaff, the shooting guard from North Dakota. So he had originally committed to South Carolina a few weeks ago. That we all thought he might be a target for Alabama, but he committed to South Carolina. Well, not so fast, because this morning he announced that he was decommitting from South Carolina and putting himself back in the transfer portal. So Eaglestaff, a guy that Alabama fans remember because he absolutely torched the Crimson Tide when they played this past season, is back on the market, and I would expect that Alabama and maybe Auburn as well going to be back in the mix for Eaglestaff.
I wonder what, in anything, there could have been a number of factors that played into this decision, but I wonder if it was he started hearing from other schools going, wait, you pulled the trigger. Well, how much was it? You left money on the table. Who knows this day and age?
Well, his quote he gave to the Field of 68, "This was a difficult decision, but after discussing this with my family, this is the best course of action for my future. Thank you to Coach Paris and the South Carolina staff for recruiting."
Of the other schools that were mentioned, Gonzaga, Kansas, I'm trying to remember. South Carolina did come as
that was a surprise.
Wow, where was that from?
Yeah, and I'll be honest, it led me to believe, man, they must be offering more money than these other places. But maybe that's not the case since he's back there in the portal. But as an Alabama person, I would certainly not mind him going to Tuscaloosa, but there's going to be a lot of schools that would be happy to have his services. He averaged almost 19 points a game last year.
You would be really happy to have the services of our friends at Second Generation Masonry, great Alabama-based company. They specialize in residential work like patios, decorative stone. You want a new driveway. You want a new entryway, walkway leading up to your front steps. They can do steps as well, but to increase your curb appeal, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces, fire pits, patios, you name it, they can do it. But not only residential work, but also commercial construction as well. Go to their website, secondgenerationmasonry.com. Look at some of the completed projects, and it's a trusted company. Otherwise, I wouldn't recommend them. Second Generation Masonry. Get the free quote today, secondgenerationmasonry.com, and always tell them Landrum from Jocks 94.5 sent you.
So a really fun podcast I was able to watch last night, and it involved Lane Kiffin. Some great stuff. We thought we'd play a couple clips for you. It was great going back and listening to some of the things that Lane Kiffin was talking about. So he was on the podcast with Theo Vaughn. It's called This Past Weekend Podcast. And so here's Lane Kiffin as he's discussing the infamous and awkward Brian Kelly video with a recruit. If you remember, it was Brian Kelly dancing behind this recruit.
I retweeted that like when he did that thing. Yeah. He was with the quarter. It was
Look
terrible.
at that.
I thought this was for a strip club, to be honest with you. I thought this was for
I think I wrote something like, do you actually know they're filming you? Like, did you put this out on purpose? You know they're going to film you when you're doing this?
I thought this was a gender reveal, and I was like, well, what is it?
Yeah, and it's not like his first one. He did it like the year before. I'm like, do you realize you're like kind of grinding on the dude?
This was also a strip club advertisement near Natchez, Mississippi, I think, as well. I think also maybe it's just because had he coached in the SEC before or not?
No, I don't think so.
And he's a nice guy.
You're like at Notre Dame. Like,
right.
You're at Notre Dame and then you're like LSU.
I know.
I mean, yeah, that's just like, that's as big a change as you can have, South Bend to Baton Rouge. Like,
oh, yeah.
And the SEC. And so.
You love Lane Kiffin talking about, he's like grinding on the dude.
Well, it's just great because you don't get coaches in this kind of environment. Like, he's doing a podcast with a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get that
And
kind of access.
That's a really funny podcast. Theo Vaughn is hilarious.
Yeah, he's excellent.
All right, so he did get a little bit serious, though, when Theo Vaughn, he asked him about Lane Kiffin's time with Nick Saban. So you could tell, and you listen, you see Lane Kiffin on social media, you could tell the affinity he has and respect.
He's the biggest Nick Saban fan in the world.
Yeah, and I know a lot of times, especially when he was doing all the Taylor Swift.
Castle's crumbling.
Yeah, things of that nature. But once again, Nick Saban saved his career. This is what Lane Kiffin said on the podcast about Nick Saban.
But now that I look back, I'm like, okay, he was so strict on everything, kind of like in a parent way, like with his team, with the players, the coaches, like nothing changed. We won a national championship and there's 7:30 staff meeting the next morning. I'm like, what are we meeting on at 7:30 the next morning? He's like, we're behind. Because we won the championship, everybody else was recruiting and we're behind. And I was like, well, what are we doing? But now I look back and be like, that's why he is what he is. That's why he was so great. Because it was like the standard never changed no matter what. And then it took me some time to understand too, like when we were winning and playing really well and coaching really well, he was harder on you because he didn't want you to have relief syndrome. Like, oh man, we've made it. He'd never explained it to us, but it was interesting here. And he said, most people are born with a relief syndrome. He wasn't. He just always had this way of thinking like, hey, you never relax. Like, but most people are. So he went above and beyond to make sure people didn't have that. Like we'd win a game and then he comes in and just like rips us.
Yeah.
And we're like, man, we played great. Like coach great. That was because he was guarding against that because he knew that could happen.
The relief syndrome. That's what he was talking about. I can't tell you the number of times that I was covering one of their big football games, whether it was a big win at home against LSU or an Iron Bowl victory or whatever the case may be. It literally would be as soon as he would be out of the interview room. He'd either be on the phone with a recruit or he would be hosting recruits in the recruiting area. There was just no stopping with Nick Saban ever. And I remember when he took the job, I had a friend of mine that was a GA for Nick Saban at LSU. And he told me Alabama folks will just not understand how this dude works 24 hours a day. Like he will not slow down. And the recruiting machine that is Nick Saban, it will absolutely blow your mind. And that never slowed up his entire time at Tuscaloosa.
And with him having that much admiration, with him saying how much he appreciated Coach Saban and what he learned from him, if he only put half of that into what he's doing in Oxford, Mississippi, from a recruiting standpoint, it would be fascinating to watch. But that's why there's only one GOAT, and everybody else is not that GOAT.
Also, during the interview, he was talking about the text string that himself and Kirby Smart and Steve Sarkisian that they have. And apparently at one time, Jimbo Fisher was in the group.
Well, I thought it was all the SEC head coaches, so it's just some of them.
Oh, yeah. No, there's just some of the little special group, mainly the ones that had a history.
They have dirt on each other.
With Nick Saban.
Gotcha.
And so at one point, he says that Lane was the only one that knows how to like remove people from conversations in the chats. And so he was referring and laughing to when he had to
go and get rid of
Jimbo Fisher out of the chat.
That's awesome.
He said normally, he goes, it was like when when they beat Kirby Smart this last year, like Kirby went like radio silent.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, and and of course Lane keeps,
Wait, so is Billy in the group text?
Oh no, didn't mention.
He's on that tree.
Didn't mention him. Nope, he just mentioned
Billy getting the
But you
short end of the
subscribe to
stick?
my theory, Conrad, that it's all the coaches, they have something on each other.
Yeah, because otherwise Billy, if it was just Saban assistants, then Billy would be in there. No, it's got to be they keep each other in check.
I would have
right?
kept Jimbo in the thread.
I'm sure he was a barrel of laughs anyway.
I would have kept him in the thread.
I think
Just knowing that he was hating whatever we were texting back and forth.
if it is those three guys, if it's Lane, Kirby, and Sark, I'm gonna guess Lane Kiffin makes up about 70% of the text messages, Sark's 25%, and Kirby's about 5%.
Lane is definitely the most savvy at it. He's sending all
He's sending the gifs and the memes.
the gifs and the
all
memes that
stuff.
make sense, and the other coaches are a little bit envious.
Are they talking about Nico in their group text? Those three guys. I feel like, come on, you got to mention it, right?
Or a very similar situation that hasn't been publicized about a player.
Maybe
or
so. Maybe so.
Maybe each will talk about a certain player from their own teams from the past or present that they're having to deal with and their daddy.
Hey, Sark, this kid said that you offered him $2.2 million. We can only get to 1.4. CBSing us? Are we real here? Can we work something out? I like to think they negotiate with each other in their group.
Yeah. I beat you in golf last time. You owe me this one. Is that legitimate? Is that all? Yeah, that would be.
If you back off this kid, I want the Lambo, Steve. I know you got the deal. Give me the Lambo.
But what he was saying about Brian Kelly.
That was awesome.
That was a gender reveal.
Yeah. Or a strip club advertisement.
Natchez,
in
Mississippi.
Did you guys like?
I was waiting for Lane to be like, "Oh yeah, I saw that one."
Speaking of gender reveals, did you like what Bryce Harper did with the blue bat? That was sweet.
Oh, is that what he did? He walked up to the plate with
Yeah, that was his gender reveal.
That's very cool.
He revealed that he is a biological male.
Was Maury there doing the on the PA system?
No. He'd already had he has 2 kids already, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I know him and his wife have been together for a while.
Yeah.
Good for him. I know you don't like him.
Nah, I just don't like the team he plays for. And the
Fair
fact
enough.
that he plays for that team and he's really good.
Fair enough.
Yeah. By the way, the Braves losing right now 1-0 to the Blue Jays as they play in the bottom of the 4th at Rogers Center.
Strider still in?
He is. 3 innings pitched, 4 hits allowed, 1 earned run, and 3 strikeouts.
How many pitches has he thrown?
His pitch count is, would that be 63?
I just figured
63.
they're going to limit it like 85 maybe?
64 pitches now, 39 of them strikes. Yeah.
Hey, 1-0 game, plenty of time.
He still has a functioning arm. Always good news.
Yes.
We continue 3-man front here on this Wednesday on Jax 94.5.
1:18 on this football spring portal Wednesday. Appreciate you tuning us in here on Three Man Front, Jocks 94.5. Paul Feinbaum Show will be coming up at the top of the hour.
Well, if you need a place to get a break from all the portal news, let me tell you about Big Whiskeys, because this weekend we've got more UFL action. We've got baseball too. The NBA playoffs are about to be underway, and Big Whiskeys will have you covered. So you can go and catch all the games they have. They have several big screens in the bar with unique cocktails and over 120 whiskeys on tap. Plus, you can go out and enjoy the outdoor patio and game area. It's great for families, and the kids eat free on Tuesdays over there. So go check them out in the Stadium Trace Village off Highway 150 near the Hoover Met.
So you remember a couple of weeks ago, actually it was right before the start of the UFL season, you had multiple coaches find themselves, you had Wisenhunt at Memphis. He took a leave of absence. It was made official today. He has left the organization, so he will not be coming back. You had the situation at DC.
Reggie Barlow.
Yep, Barlow left, and Skip Holtz is best friend now, the head coach of the DC team. He took over. And now word just came out of San Antonio that Wade Phillips is stepping down as the head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas. He is taking a leave of absence. So, not really sure exactly why, but that announcement just came out a few moments ago, in which San Antonio released a statement saying they're extremely grateful for the leadership that Wade has delivered to the UFL as head coach. Goes on about his credibility, his longevity. He's been a coach for over 50 years. And when Wade is ready to return to the sidelines, the entire UFL family will be there to cheer him on.
Okay. So with that statement, it seems like maybe there's just something personal going on.
Maybe health related.
Maybe
needs to step away and address something and then come back. But it's been, as I mentioned, Wisenhunt, leave of absence. Then you had Barlow leave for another job. And now San Antonio's head coach steps away.
With the news surrounding the players and being unhappy with some of the current contractual things that they have through the league and the threat, and thank goodness they're playing and they're going to try to work through it. But that's immediately what you think is hopefully there's not something else underlying that these coaches are getting out ahead of. Doesn't seem to be the case right now, which is really good news. Wade Phillips. He's been a long time. How old is he?
Oh, my. He's been in the business for over 50 years.
Over 50 years, so he's pushing 80?
Maybe he thought Jerry was still looking for another Cowboys coach.
He is 77.
Go back home.
77.
Man.
77 years old.
That's impressive that he's still doing it at 77, honestly. That's remarkable.
I hope I make it at 77.
In 1969, he was a graduate assistant coach at Houston.
Oh.
In 1969.
Whew.
He was linebackers coach at Oklahoma State. He was defensive line coach at Kansas. He was the defensive line coach for his dad, Bum Phillips, of the Houston Oilers. And then he went to the New Orleans Saints, where his dad was the head coach. And then he was the interim head coach in 85 of the Saints. He was the DC for the Eagles, DC at the Broncos, head coach of the Broncos, DC at the Bills, head coach of the Bills, DC for the Falcons, interim head coach of the Falcons, DC for the Chargers, head coach of the Dallas Cowboys from 2007 through 2010.
Mm-hmm.
He was DC for the Texans, interim head coach of the Texans. You see the
oh yeah, he's got a track record. He knows how to do it.
Then he went back to Denver as the DC. Then he went to the Rams as DC. Then he was the Houston Roughnecks head coach. And now he's the San Antonio Brahmas.
So you're telling me he does not like cold climates?
It's a good point.
Well, outside of Buffalo.
Yeah.
Oh, Buffalo. Okay. Yeah.
Well, that was out of his control. He had to.
Yeah.
That's remarkable. He's been coaching longer than Molly and I have been alive combined. That's wild.
Wow.
And as a
56 years.
As a head coach in the NFL, he's 82-64. Not bad.
I mean, he was an excellent defensive coach in the NFL. Very good.
But here's the key: he was 1-5 in the postseason.
Yeah,
that is where they get you.
But 82-64 in the NFL, that gets you multiple head coaching jobs.
Think about this:
Adam Gase got multiple coaching jobs. I mean, come on.
He was 13-3 in year 1 for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah, he was there with Romo.
He went 9-7 in year 2. He went 11-5 in year 3. But he started 1-7 in 2010, and that did him in.
We forget where we're thinking, what is Jerry doing? Why is he still hanging on to this coach? Because of the moves that he has made, where he's probably looked back and said, I might have pulled the trigger a little bit too quick on.
I mean, Wade
this
Phillips
guy.
won the NFC East twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give him the Jason Garrett one. That situation went on too long, but yeah, I think there's some buyer's remorse in Jerry's past with some decisions that he's made.
I'm just reading this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Oh, so he was a quarterback. Okay. I misread something. It was going to be really funny. I'm glad I didn't read it.
About Wade Phillips?
Yeah. So he's a quarterback, but he spent his whole life as a defensive coordinator.
I would love to know what you were.
Yeah, no. Now I'm just trying to figure out what
you thought. You
No,
were
I
reading.
will share with you during a break. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not. I mean, it's just.
That is kind of ironic, though, to spend your whole life as a quarterback, then you end up as a defensive coordinator primarily in the NFL. But,
But you have to know what defenses are doing.
I was about to say, you have a great understanding of how to stop the offense as being a quarterback and knowing how all of that runs. And he certainly did that when they won the Super Bowl when he was with Denver. They were very good.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. So he has taken a step away from his duties there for San Antonio. There's already an early predictions out with scores for the opening week of the college football season. So Brad Crawford at 247 Sports. There's no need to even go to the game, Conrad. I know you and FSU Dave were going to the game.
Can I guess what his score prediction is?
Sure.
I'm going to go Alabama 38, Florida State 24.
38-24.
Brad is predicting Alabama 34, FSU 17.
I'll go Alabama 28, FSU 10.
Okay, so everybody's got Alabama winning.
Yes.
No, I just said that Brad would.
I see what you did there.
Landrum was right. 34-17.
Oh,
that's what Brad Crawford is. All right. How about Auburn Baylor?
Ooh, Auburn Baylor. He has got Auburn winning this game in a squeaker, 24-21.
Yeah, I was going to go Auburn 28, Baylor 24.
24-17.
31-24 Auburn.
Okay.
Okay.
Texas, the Ohio State.
Ooh.
Man, he has got.
Where's that game being played again?
Ohio State.
Okay, it is at Ohio State.
This one, Pat, has 31-28 written all over it.
34-31 Ohio State.
I'm going to go 24-21 Ohio State.
Texas, 26-20.
It's an interesting score. Okay.
It is interesting.
Syracuse versus Tennessee.
Well, it depends on if Nico's a Syracuse quarterback, right?
I mean, this came out yesterday. So
okay. He has got.
Oh, God. So hard.
I know this. I mean, it's so ridiculous.
I don't know what to make of it.
I mean, because of the transfer portal,
Yeah.
your roster. But I mean, hey, to his credit,
Where's that game?
I think it's in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's a neutral site.
Okay.
I'll go at Tennessee 21-17 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Low scoring.
I will double. Yeah, I will go with Conrad.
triple it.
21-17.
Syracuse, 27-20.
Wow.
That would not be a good. Granted, Syracuse was good last year, but that would not be a good start for.
TCU and North Carolina.
Ooh.
Oh, this is going to shape up like Colorado a couple years ago where they got to open up with TCU, got that big win, and everyone got all hyped up about how good they were.
Yep. He has got North Carolina winning that game 35-32. It's
I
another
was going to
weird
say
score.
34-30.
30-24 North Carolina.
TCU 35-24.
Oh, that'd be an ugly start for Bill.
Yeah.
Jordan.
Miami and Notre Dame.
Miami, Notre Dame.
I'll go Notre Dame 24, Miami 14.
I think he's going to give Carson back some
I was
love.
about to say, I think, yeah. I'll go 24-21 Miami.
Miami 28-27.
Yep.
South Carolina and Virginia Tech.
South Carolina 34, Virginia Tech 21.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a blowout. I'll go 38-20 South Carolina.
34-21, yeah.
29-24 South Carolina.
Wow.
And the final game he's already predicted, LSU and Clemson.
Clemson 35, LSU 27.
28-24 Clemson.
17-14.
Clemson or LSU?
Clemson.
He's got LSU winning 27-24.
That'd be big. That'd be the first season opening win for Brian Kelly in Baton Rouge.
Because we all think that Clemson's going to be a top 5 team preseason, if not higher.
I would think so. Yep.
They're getting a ton of love.
Yep.
And they should.
I was about to say, it would be, that would be it would change how I view LSU next year if they win that opening game.
So how'd you feel about the 34-17 win, Conrad?
It
Ty
was great.
Simpson is your quarterback.
Ty Simpson, he had that one errant pass. It was just a bad miscommunication between him and Ryan Williams. But, I really thought the 6 touchdowns he bounced back and threw after that were electric, Pat. He had 85 rushing yards, too, so he showed a lot of wiggle. And Ryan Williams is front runner for the Heisman. Caught 5 of those 6 touchdown passes.
With Gus Malzahn having this game to script plays for the first 9
Gus
drives.
Malzahn scores 17 points against the vaunted Alabama defense in week 1.
And here's the thing. They'll score all 17 in the first quarter. Then they won't score again the rest of the game. They won't even cross midfield after that.
Sounds about right.
Thomas Castellanos will look incredible. Yeah. Conrad will be losing his mind. Everybody else, but have no fear. That offense will just putter out around the start of the second quarter.
Now, are you and FSU, Dave, are y'all going to go down the day of the game? You think you'll go down there a day or two before? What's the plan?
We're going to rent an RV.
Oh, that'd be fun.
We're just going to make a couple days out of it.
Yep. Are you going to get a driver? Or are you guys going to swap up shifts?
Don's going to drive for us.
Oh, that's nice of him.
It is. It was very nice of him. All he said we had to provide him with the chauffeur's cap, and he would do the rest. So.
Can you imagine? You and Dave are just hanging out on in the living room area of the Winnebago.
The foyer. Yeah.
Hey guys, there's a Stuckey's up here. Y'all want me?
Oh, the Stuckey's pull. That was good.
I got pecan logs. That'll be a fun trip for you 3.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Pat's got questions. Hopefully we can answer them. Pat Ponders is next. 135, three-man front here on this Wednesday. Paul Feinbaum at the top of the hour. Pat Ponders comes your way momentarily.
Well, it's April, and that means it's Diamond Month. So you need to go and check out our friends at Diamonds Direct. There you'll find stunning engagement rings, great anniversary gifts, maybe a Mother's Day present as well. And if you know a graduate coming up here soon, you can get a gift for them. And they're all at incredible prices. Plus, they offer custom designs, free cleanings, and a lifetime of upgrades, so that gift will always look wonderful for them. So like I said, April is Diamond Month, and Diamonds Direct is the move. So stop by in today and find something perfect.
All right, let's do this. Pat Ponders brought to you by Courtesy GMC. Brought to you by Courtesy GMC and Trustful. Visit their online inventory at courtesybirmingham.com. All right, I'm going to give you an option here on this question. Who or what do you blame the most for the circumstances of the NIL fiasco at Tennessee with Nico? Was it the greedy dad, a neutered NCAA, or the cash-slinging Southeastern Conference? Which one of the three is the most to blame for this situation?
I'd probably go the dad personally. And a lot of that just comes down to, I'm sure in his own mind, he thinks that he's doing what is in the best interest of his son. And if he truly believes that, I mean, who am I to tell you how to, raise your child if you think you're doing what's best for them? But at least from the outside looking in, it seems like he has been feeding his son bad advice out of greed and not looking out at what the best situation maybe is for his son right now in the present as a football player, hoping to become an NFL player in the future.
Yeah, knowing what we know, I agree. It just looks like greed. That's the way it comes off.
That's what I was going to say. What we know right now, I would say the dad, especially because, he's his rep. I think that was what Trey Wallace was saying. He doesn't have an agent. His dad is essentially his agent. So, but yeah, like Conrad said too, just bad advice all around.
Teams were getting creative and programs were getting creative before we had a neutered NCAA about taking care of kids to keep them on campus.
Question number 2. On this date in 1929, the Yankees become the first Major League Baseball team to permanently feature numbers on the backs of uniforms. Now, New York is the final Major League Baseball team not to place names on the back of their home and away jerseys. Should Major League Baseball force New York to put players' names on at least one of the Yankees' jerseys?
I'm interested in y'all's opinion on this first.
No, it doesn't bother me because it's the Yankees, and it's definitely not my favorite franchise, but there is a storied history there.
I'll say it's history, it's tradition. Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
So no, I don't think the uniform would look right if they did have names on the back. To me, it wouldn't.
This is really nice. I appreciate the kind words.
That would be like Penn State putting a logo on the side of their helmet.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I look at
Notre
it, right?
Dame, I guess.
It was the same thing with the facial hair. I understand that maybe it's not everyone's favorite, but it's a tradition, and it's. I guess I look at it as no player is bigger than the number, no player is bigger than the team. It's just you're there in the pinstripes, and you should be honored to be wearing the pinstripes.
And if I'm not a Yankees fan, you are, but you probably know them all by number, right?
Oh, in terms of like who? Yeah. I don't need the names,
and I don't. Yeah. I don't care enough to know or to watch them where that would help me.
Now, do I like that my old A-Rod jersey can now be mistaken for a Joey Gallo jersey? I do not like that, but that's the price you pay.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that's the price you pay when you don't have the last names.
But if you bought the Joey Gallo jersey, maybe people think, oh, well, he had a A-Rod.
That's true. That's a good point.
And you know how the original numbers were assigned?
For the Yankees?
Mm-hmm.
I do not, actually.
Based on where they batted in the batting order.
Okay, so that's why they were all single digits early on. Okay, very cool. I did not know that.
Question number 3, Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter says he would quit football if the team that drafts him doesn't let him play on both offense and defense. Do you believe him? And will a team honor that request?
Golly, man. Why just drawing lines in the sand?
Just play football.
Come on, man. You're so much fun to watch. No, I don't believe him.
No, not at all.
I think he may truly believe that right now, but to walk away from football, I don't.
There's no way.
Nah.
There's no way.
Yeah, no, I don't think he would actually walk away from football. Now, do I think that someone is going to let him do that in the NFL? No. No. Because you don't want to risk him getting injured or I mean, he's a valuable commodity to whoever drafts him. You don't want to immediately throw him out there for
Does he want to be an
100
every
snaps.
down guy or does he want to come in just situationally? Bring him in if there's a Hail Mary opportunity.
I also think
Let him
he
play center field.
maybe is underestimating the quality of competition that he went up against in the Big 12 and the SWAC compared to what he's going to face in the NFL if he plays every single snap. It's going to be a little different.
Next question. TV viewership is in. The NFL and NBA, they were down 2% from the season before. The NHL viewership is down 13%. College basketball was up 3%. College football was flat. So what do you believe the sports fan has gone why they're not watching these sports teams, the sports leagues anymore?
The NBA is just the product to me. And then some of the, I mean, there's politics and everything, but some of the politics, I think they lost fans and some of those fans never came back. With the NHL.
Why's the NFL down?
See, I guess I just look at it as there's so many options now for things you can do. And I'll say for some sports, like the NBA, I think the quality of the product is questionable. I think in Major League Baseball, right, it's so hard to find how you can watch a game in the first place. I think that's a big issue. But I think in general, people have more options. People are more interested, especially, younger kids. Like when I was growing up, I watched sports all the time. But now, kids want to go and they want to play Fortnite with their friends, or they want to go watch Jedi Broom play Fortnite with his friends and chat with them or whatever. So I just think there's a lot of options now, and especially for the younger generation, it's an attention span thing. A lot of them can't sit still for 3 hours.
There are so many more options.
And with
now.
social media too, like easy clicks and stuff like that, a lot of them don't need to.
Short form stuff, just going, watching a podcast or.
You feel like you could get the talking points of a game in 5 minutes on social media as opposed to the 3 hours of watching.
And back in the day when you had 12 channels and there was one sporting event maybe on, that was appointment television.
All right, final question. Over the weekend, it was reported that the Titans are set to draft Cam Ward at number 1 unless they're presented a historic trade package. Would you take Ward first or trade the pick or take Shedeur Sanders?
I would take Cam Ward.
Yeah, give me Cam Ward.
Yeah, I think of this. You need a quarterback. I think he's the best one available to you. There's no guarantee you're going to have a number 1 pick again anytime soon. You have to roll the dice. And I did get a kick. I don't know if y'all saw, speaking of what we were just talking about, but last night, I guess Cam Ward was playing Fortnite and somebody got video of him, streaming himself playing video games with his friends. And they were asking him, like, so who's your favorite wide receiver? He said Calvin Ridley. Who's your favorite running back? Tony Pollard. Who do you think the best head coach is in the NFL? Brian Callahan. All of his answers were Tennessee Titans players and staff for who he thinks are the best or his favorite in the NFL right now. So
Call me silly. I think Cam Ward's going to have a really good NFL career.
I hope he does.
Yeah, I just don't like that now. I've started to see, this is the closest we've gotten to Patrick Mahomes since Patrick Mahomes. Let's not do that.
Let's not do that.
Can we not do that?
It's not fair to anybody.
No, it's not. Just let him be Cam Ward. And I mean, he can't be worse than Will Levis, right? I mean, come on.
That's today's Pep Hunters, brought to you by Courtesy GMC and Trustful. Visit their online inventory at courtesybirmingham.com.
We will get you updated on the transfer portal and what is going on the basketball front as well as the college football front. 3-man front and Jocks, 94.5.
148 Jocks 94.5 on this Wednesday. Paul Feinbaum Show coming up at the top of the hour. We've been watching the transfer portal. Not a lot of movement in regards to a lot of SEC situations that will probably change in the next 24 to 48 hours. It always does. Many insiders believe that it will be active around the conference. Maybe not as active at Alabama and Auburn, but around the conference it will be. Meanwhile, ESPN's got a story up just a couple minutes ago, and it was talking about Nico, and they had talked to a general manager at a Power 4 school, and he says there is a zero market for Nico. It will be an interesting test of how smart and disciplined colleges are in looking at him. And that kind of plays off the fact that Pete Thamel went on the Pat McAfee show about an hour ago, and he basically said that the market is crashing for Nico. So now the schools that have less than established quarterbacks that could be in the running for Nico, Notre Dame, USC, North Carolina, Central Florida, none of those schools have really expressed a lot of interest in Nico, but those are the schools that a lot of people around the industry have said, if you look at the rosters currently and their quarterback situations, those are the schools that would be a more perfect fit for Nico. But those schools have not reciprocated any interest as of this hour.
Well, UCF in particular, if he got what he was asking, he'd be making more than the head coach. Is Frost making more than $4 million a year?
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
So to go along with that, one general manager at a Power 4 school said that I think he has a zero market. He went on to say there is also absolutely zero interest or buzz for Nico.
I don't think, I'm not discounting what I'm saying. I'm just putting the shoe on the other foot. I don't think anybody's going to be forthright right now because that's the unpopular place to be right now. Saying, yeah, we're actively pursuing Nico. We're trying to put some things together. We're in touch with our collective. I don't think anybody's going to say that so somebody can take it and run with it.
The no contact tag is just so interesting
Yeah.
to me because everything that we have heard over the last 6 days or so now didn't lead me to believe that that was going to happen. And so it really is, typically you don't question that. You just go, okay, he's got a deal done. We'll find out in 24 to 48 hours and that's it. But I'm serious what I brought up earlier. Do you do that to try to drive up the interest because you're like, oh crap, we're going in the portal and our phone is not ringing?
Or on the flip side is Nico's dad, just so out to lunch that he says, no, don't call us. I will select the schools that we want to talk to.
Surely not.
Speaking of a player who had a father that was very active in his career and where he was going to play football was Cam Newton.
Mm-hmm.
And Cam Newton
That's a good point.
has made a comment on the Nico situation.
Yeah, so he issued a warning, I guess, for Nico, you could call it. He says, and I quote, "This is a story of good advice, bad advice. Whoever advised this kid to sit out and chase in hopes for more money is a fool, because the reality is to just make your college experience comfortable. This is not forever money. You have to understand that even though you're making millions and millions and millions of dollars, this ain't it, bro. You are 19 years old, but that money ain't going to last past 24. That's from Cam Newton.
Yeah. And he's right. How much was there a report on how much they had collected in compensation so far? Just worrying the details and the financials of all of that.
Well, his original deal was around $8 million.
Right.
So I guess he got what, 4.4 of that?
And surely they didn't give it to him all up front.
He got $2 million just to sit on the sideline and do nothing.
Yeah.
And then
so
another
I guess he's gone
$2+ million this past year.
Yeah, so I guess somewhere in the $4 to $6 million range.
Also read where Tennessee spent close to $1 million fighting the NCAA.
Oh, that lawsuit
on behalf of Nico.
So all in all, you're probably somewhere in what, $5.5, $6 million that you poured into this kid, and you made the playoff, which was great, but
and got embarrassed.
Exactly, and that's all you have to show for.
What are you going to do with all those jerseys?
They will go to where the
Haiti?
Kansas City Chiefs three-peat shirts went.
They're going to Haiti, aren't they?
Yeah. Probably so.
They go to the weirdest places in the world.
A lot of third world countries.
I was about to say they do a good job. They clothe a lot of people that don't have it otherwise, and that's
my brother, who is a minister and who has gone on many missionary trips throughout his career, comes back and tells me some of the just complete off the map locations up in the mountains and seeing people walking around with
Butler Bulldogs,
with
national champions.
championship shirts for national champions that never happened, because all of those shirts end up obviously being sent to, relief aid and to obviously areas of the world that.
How many Buffalo Bills Super Bowl champion shirts are out there?
There's so many. Oh.
It's a lot.
Hey, I got 3 years in a row. Collect all 3.
Or just think of those people that do not have access to news.
Oh, they have no idea.
And they finally make it to the big town from their village. And then they go thinking, I'm walking around. I've got my Buffalo Bills gear on. And
look, Biden
really
got reelected.
Yeah.
I'm feeling really good. And then you go, wait, they haven't won a Super Bowl?
That's weird. This Chief shirt says 3-peat, but I didn't get the last 2. This doesn't make any sense.
Speaking of Exodus, Landrum was telling us yesterday about Brian Harsin and the outstanding job he's done in the running back room there at California. It was 4, right? Yesterday?
Yeah, it was 4.
It's 5 now.
Oh, no.
Yes. The 5th one just entered the transfer portal.
We're going empty all year.
Not as a choice, but because that's all they got.
And their quarterback that they had last year transferred to Indiana, right?
Mendoza.
Yeah,
because he was good.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
True freshman Anthony League is the last standing Golden Bears running back right now.
Said he's a true freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Hope they promised him a lot of playing time.
I really hope that Justin Wilcox didn't say, Brian, look, you just handle that side of the ball, the recruiting, the personnel, all of that. Because Brian Harsin absolutely believes he will get 5 guys in that were much better than those 5, but they will come to him.
So Javian Thomas is the latest member of the running back or the ex-running backs at California. So that makes 5 that have left California for the transfer portal in the last 24 hours.
Well, we know Brian Harsin didn't recruit that one kid that's left, the true freshman. So
who's their quarterback? Who is Cal's quarterback? Do you remember who they brought in? They brought in somebody.
Couldn't tell you.
Maybe Ron Rivera is running everybody off.
Maybe so.
He might be.
He wants that job.
Yeah, I was about to say, he's playing the long game here.
You can't smoke that out here. I don't care what they're doing on that hill.
That's awesome. It'd be funny if Cal was, they got like one of the Iowa leftover QBs or something like that.
Oh, the transfer portal.
Wonder if he.
Wow. I just feel bad for Brian Harsin. Said it's so
Do
tough.
you?
Not really.
I'm excited to see what his Halloween costume is this year.
Okay, here's the quarterback. Can you pronounce it? Segapolitility?
That's him.
That's him. Jiran Kiawai Segapolitility. Who would have thought Iamaliava is a lot easier to pronounce?
Oh, yeah. I think this guy was a 5-star.
He was.
Yeah.
He flipped from Oregon, signed with Cal.
Oh, big things coming for the Golden Bears.
That's going to do it for us. We appreciate all of your participation. Anything you missed or you want to listen or watch again, you can find it there at the podcast. Our buddy Paul Feinbaum, I'm sure he'll be talking about Nico and other things. He's next right here on Jock 94.5.